Well, good evening, racing fans. Welcome to Racing Action from Grand River Raceway for this Monday evening, our second last day of the harness racing season. And note, blue skies overhead. The track condition listed as fast. The temperature will be recorded as 16 degrees Celsius. Let's get a look at the changes on the card. Race number 1, we have scratches of 4, A Sailor's Delight, and 5, Jitter's Better. 4 and 5 are scratched from race 1. Race number 2, number 4, Prince Was a Trotter. Tyler Jones will drive. Tyler Jones is driving number 4 in the second. Race 3, no changes, race 3. Race number 4, number 1, Thor Sealster, shoe change, aluminum to steel shoes up front, aluminum to steel up front. Race number 5, no changes, race number 5. In race number 6, number 4, Ask for Me. The driver will be Tyler Jones. Race 6, 4, Ask for Me, Tyler Jones. Races 7 and 8 have no changes, races 7 or 8. And race number 9, number 4, Heineken Sealster, a shoe chain flip-flops to steel shoes up front. That is flip-flops to steel up front. And race number 10, number 4, Get It Done Donna. Correction, number 9, Get It Done Donna. Race 10-9, Get It Done Donna is a bridle change, open to blind bridle. Once again, reviewing races 1 and 2. Race number 1, scratches of 4 and 5. And the second race, Tyler Jones will drive number 4, Prince Was a Trotter. It is currently 15 minutes to post time. Time to welcome in our co-host for the racing action this evening, handicapping expert Robert Reed Jr. Robert, how was your harness racing weekend?
It was amazing, Gary. I was at Mohawk Park on Saturday evening for the final Saturday in a September to Remember at that racetrack, and it was the Mohawk Million, along with the She's a Great Lady and the Metro, and I got to be a big part of it with the Costa TV broadcast, so it was kind of neat to be there, amongst all the participants. I actually interviewed 8 either drivers or trainers before the racing action, and it was really just an incredible evening. Of course, Venerable won the Mohawk Million. She was my best bet on the card. She only paid 4 to 5, but another spectacular performance for her to remain undefeated now at 8 for 8. So just a fantastic evening of racing to wrap up the big stake schedule at Mohawk Park and the Grand Circuit. So I had a tremendous time and then spent some great time yesterday with my family at the Toronto Zoo. So it was a jam-packed weekend. But hey, folks, guess what? It's now Marvelous Monday here at Grand River Raceway in beautiful Elora, Ontario. And time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it? Because guess what? 2 cards left. It's crazy. It seems like just yesterday was June 11th and it was opening night. Now we just have 2 cards of live racing left tonight and Wednesday night. So 2 more chances to enjoy this beautiful track here at Grand River. And Colin Kelly has a stranglehold of that driver's title, that's for sure. Kyle Bossens on the other side in the trainer's race. So, those rock-solid connections that we've been commenting on all season long looking to win their respective categories. And well, tonight, of course, we've got 10 dashes on the card, including our guaranteed pick five, which starts in the opener. The pool is guaranteed at $2,500, but we've been exceeding that for the entire meet. And Gary and I have mapped out some tickets for you, which we'll take a look at in just a few moments. 8 minutes to post for our opener. You know what that means? It's pick five time. Gary and I will map out suggested pick five tickets for you each and every race night. And, well, we already got almost $3,000 in the pool, already over the guarantee for the pick five, which gets started in the open. Let's take a look at my ticket first. And I think I spent what Gary usually spends tonight, if I'm not mistaken. Let's take a look at the ticket now. In the opener, I'm going to single number 2, Century Isabella. I think that one is going to really enjoy getting back here to Grand River from an inside post. Just said, you know what, I'm going to single this one. 3 to 5 on the board right now. Doesn't surprise me. I want to try to get some price a little later on. So second leg, 4 deep, the 2, 3, 6, and 9. My top selection is number 3, Regal Tempest, but I think there's some opportunities for a price in the second race this evening. Race 3, the 4, 5, and 9. My top pick is number 4, Bet the Limit. I like number 5, To Who You Brew. I want to see what Gary does in there because he's been a fan of that gelding, and I think this might be a good spot for him tonight. Also using number 9, A Better Man, so 3 deep in there. Race 4, just 2 deep. The 3, Sizzling Hot Herbie, and the 4, Slip into Glide. They both raced well in their latest at Flamborough Downs, and maybe Sizzling Hot Herbie with the the inner post there, post 3, drawing inside of number 4, Slip into Glide, might have a chance to beat that one. And then in the final leg, race number 5, the money leg, 2 deep, number 7, YS Delight. I'm not jumping off his bandwagon. I've been on him pretty much every start of his life so far. I'm going to just keep on doing that. He's won 2 in a row here at Grand River. But number 4, Frowny's Miracle, debuts for the rock-solid connections of Kyle Bossens and driver Colin Kelly, the leading trainer and leading driver here at Grand River. So I want to have that one on my ticket for sure. But let's see what Gary Guy has in store for us tonight. I spent $9.60. I bet he spent the same.
Well, you would be right. $9.60. I'm consistent. I spend $9.60 and I don't cash the pick 5. I'm consistent on 2 fronts. In the first race, I did take Century Isabella as my top pick, but I wanted to add Banana Muffin just in case Century Isabella didn't come back. That last race, grassroots Mohawk, but just in case. In the second race, I do have the 2 and 3 only. You've got a couple extra. I went at just to Regal Tempest and Salzburg Genesis. Race number 3. You know what? I did not go with To Who You Brew. We have a couple the same, but I have the 4, 7, and 9. So where you have 5 To Who You Brew, I also have Lowell Bruiser. You might remember that name. Yeah, post position's not great, but I just didn't want to leave that one off the ticket. Race number 4, we have the same idea, the 3 and 4. And in race number 5, we actually have the same idea in the 5th race, but one thing I should note is I did take 4 Frowny's Miracle to win the race, while you have YS Delight to win, but we both have the 4 and 7. So $9.60 is the price of my ticket, shockingly.
There you have it. So see that? I tried to mirror Gary Guy tonight with the same cost in my ticket. And you know what? We also have 16 chances tonight. That might be the most now we've ever had. I think it was 12 before. 16 chances that we both find the winner's circle tonight. And we'll say similar but different. Gary's going 2 deep in the first. I'm singling, but we have a lot of horses from there on out. And I like his pick of number 4, Frowny's Miracle in race 5. I admire that. I couldn't go off YS Delight, but I do like that one. Let's take a look at the opener, though. We've got Philly and Mare's non-winners of $5,000 lifetime. And no surprise to me right now, the number 2, Century Isabella, is the favorite on the board at even money. Love the transition back here to Grand River. OSS Grassroots race last time, post 9 at Mohawk Park, and against much tougher, obviously. And then before that, a couple of races and non-winners of 1, both won by In the Mood. In the Mood would be a massive. In the Mood would be a massive favorite in here this evening. And you go back to that first lifetime start here at Grand River, we'll post 8. So I look at that one and just strike it off the program. Got bet down to 12 to 1 even from that position. So I think Century Isabella is the one to beat here in the opener, and doing something I don't usually do, taking a 2-year-old against older horses. But in this case, I just think she's really going to like the reclassification and move over here to Grand River Raceway. Number 1, Banana Muffin. Well, if you like the angle of Robert jumping off a horse, well, this is the one for you, because I picked this one on top last time, and Banana Muffin raced pretty well. Ended up going overland for part of the journey and finishing second to Best Kept Secret. It was a pumped up winner on that occasion. Now you get the pole position versus post 4. So I can see why Gary wants to have this one in his pick 5. I use this one for second, but I didn't want to spend an insane amount of money tonight on my multi-leg ticket. But Banana Muffin, I do think has a good chance, and I think should be the one that might challenge number 2, Century Isabella. Number 6, Up the Credit with Art. Well, did have post 6, now ends up with post 4. Bet down to 5-2 on the board right now. Since going to the barn of Jacob Murray, we've seen much better things from this mare. Last time, post 7, finished 7th. I'm willing to forgive that one. I think that Up the Credit with Art will get a piece of it tonight and maybe land on the ticket. And number 8, Better Than Glamour. An interesting one for me, for Vern Cochran. Did race last time at Hanover, was off some time before that, finished second. Does draw now, a better post in post 6. Maybe can get onto the ticket at a price. 11-1 is probably about the right price on this filly by Better Than Cheddar. But for me, I'm sticking with number 2, Century Isabella. That's my top pick and my single in the pick 5. We'll come back and look at this race a little closer with Gary Guy after the post break.
If we wind up with field for race number 1 on parade 1, Banana Muffin, Chris Johnston for Lawrence Johnston. And number 2 is Century Isabella, Brett Madonna for Jim Ritchie. Number 3 is Stoneface Jerry, Natasha Day for Ralph Jardine. Number 6 is Up the Credit with Art, Austin Sorry for Jacob Murray and Jim Wilson. And number 7 is Game On Tiny Nick Boyd for James Dean. Number 8 is Better Than Glamour, Travis Henry for Vern Cochran and Leonard Van Veen and Hildy Van Veen. Well, let's take a look at this field. And, well, first up, we'll take a look at number 2, Century Isabella, one that both Rob and I think is the one to beat in here, and is 1-9 on the board. Now, that's an awfully tough price to take on one that finished 8th last time out. But it is the barn of Jim Ritchie. Seen him win a lot of races over the years, and especially on the half-mile tracks. And Century Isabella gets a better post position and a better classification. Century Isabella was pretty good 2 starts back, Rob, but geez, 1-9.
Yeah, 1-9 is a tough pill to swallow. I was expecting 3-5. Yeah, 1-9 is a far cry from that price even. I just looked at it and said, last time, post 9, grassroots event, Mohawk Park, and, you can't really falter for finishing 8th and against that group. Before that, did have a nice 3rd to In the Mood, and non-winners of 1 there. And the race here, I don't think is nearly as bad as it looks on paper. Post 8 in her lifetime debut on July the 14th, and that back half was actually pretty decent, 57 seconds flat, and looks good on the track right now. I just think that, when I look at who she's been facing against it now, who she goes up against this evening, she kind of sticks out and lays over them. But you do have that other angle, though, as a 2-year-old racing against older horses.
And down on the inside, 1 Banana Muffin is 6-1 on the board, and there we see Banana Muffin on the screen right now. And, well, it'll be interesting because now it gets the inside. We see this one had the inside at Leamington back in the middle of August and left out well. Banana Muffin could be a trip horse from the inside, and the last 2 races were good. I took Banana Muffin just because I thought the Century Isabella would be a really high price, and or low, I should say, like 1-5, and kind of restrictive. And I wanted to have just one shot to maybe get the favorite beaten with one that would pay 5-1.
Yeah, I picked Banana Muffin last time, and it was a pretty solid effort to finish second to Best Kept Secret, who was a dominant winner on that occasion. This one got away 5th, ended up going overland for part of the mile, and I thought finished off her her race pretty well. I was not expecting 6-1. Now I see down to 5-2. That's the price I thought she would go off at tonight. I just think that she might be a notch below number 2, Century Isabella, but I can't fault you for using her in the pick 5, especially when you're trying to get a big favorite beat.
Number 6 Up the Credit with Art is 4-1 on the board, and one that was racing really well, then moved up the last couple starts, and actually that won 2 races ago, not bad, although tailed off late. The last race didn't work out well, but moves back down. Up the Credit with Art could come back into form here, 9-2.
Yeah, I think so. I think you mentioned the main thing for this mare is the reclassification back down. Non-winners of 15,000 life's a much tougher spot. Plus, she had post 7. Before that, in a condition claimer, I kind of thought that was a lateral move from non-winners of 5,000 life. She's had the 2-hole backed up to 5th. But then you go beyond that, and you see some pretty good lines racing in this class. And post 6, I was very hesitant to put this horse higher than the 3rd spot. That's where I pegged her. But now from post 4, that might change a little bit, because she is one that has early foot off the gate, and if the ones to the inside of her ever aren't really blasting, she could be the one that is the pace setter in here.
And that mile of 57-3 actually would compare reasonably well in here. And one more to touch on is number 8, Better Than Glamour, outside post position, but now outside means post 6.
Yeah, Better Than Glamour was an interesting one for me, just because, we always look at horses that, when they kind of miss some time and then get back in on a regular rotation. Well, the last effort was 9 days ago, and might be one to take a look at. It looked like it was an improved effort from some of the previous lines, and well, it's something that she's moving way up in class. I don't really think she's impossible in here. I think it's more likely she gets a smaller share of it. But I thought the price might be right. But now looking at the board, she's only 5-1. So the value that I thought would be there is not.
And now number 2, Century Isabella, has actually climbed back up a little bit. 6-5 is a fairer price. And a quick last thought, 3 Stone-Faced Jerry actually had a couple good races for trainer John McMillan back in July, but then things have gone awry since then.
Yeah, but you see that scratch sick, 2 back, and you wonder maybe getting back in, like we always mentioned, to a regular schedule might help this one. Good post to work from, 12-1 on the board. I couldn't really fault anyone for taking a shot on that one, especially somewhere underneath.
Well, right now we have number 2, Century Isabella, as our top pick, 6-5, as does a lot of our handicappers. Century Isabella and Banana Muffin on the inside right now, a co-second choice, and now a second choice at 5-2. It'll be Banana Muffin, Century Isabella on the inside. In the center, it is a Stone-Faced Jerry, and Up the Credit with Art to the outside. Game on, Tony, and Better Than Glamour. It's a field of 6 for race number 1. They're in the stretch. And they're at the start of the rough. Up the Credit with Art is going to leave with Century Isabella. Banana Muffin on the inside. Better Than Glamour and Stone-Faced Cherry. And Game On Tiny is back trailing the field. But right now, Up the Credit with Art's got the lead. Century Isabella is racing second. Stone-Faced Cherry is third away. And now Century Isabella wants to quickly grab the lead. Century Isabella at even money in the board is going to stride up now and take the front from Up the Credit with Art. Then Stone-Faced Cherry. Banana Muffin right now is racing fourth, and then is in front of Better Than Glamour and Game On Tiny, and they race their way to the opening quarter, and it is a quarter of 28-2. Century Isabella has the front for Brett McDonald, and right there second, Up Their Credit with Art. Then it's a gap of a couple, Stone-Faced Cherry, Banana Muffin, and then back to Better Than Glamour and Game On Tiny, and they race their way off the turn. The field comes on towards us. Century Isabella leads the first race, fillies and mares, up to the half off a 28-2 opening quarter. And on the inside, Up the Credit with Art. Halftime was recorded in 58-2, a 30-second second panel breather. Moving on the outside, Banana Muffin now. Banana Muffin has deserted the pylons and has stepped out and is about 2.5 lengths off the lead. Might have flattened out a little bit. And then racing on the outside is Better Than Glamour down to the inside, Stone-Faced Cherry. And then Game On Tiny. It is Century Isabella. Century Isabella Up the Credit with Art is right there close, nose to helmet in the pocket. Banana Muffin is bravening up on the inside. There goes Up the Credit with Art right now. Stone-Faced Cherry went off stride. Century Isabella Up the Credit with Art. Banana Muffin is racing third, and then Better Than Glamour. It is Century Isabella. Here comes Up the Credit with Art on the outside. Up 3/4, 127 and 3. Up the Credit with Art. Now alongside Century Isabella and has a slim lead. And on the inside trying to fight back is Century Isabella, but it's Up the Credit with Art. Charging late, Banana Muffin. Up the Credit with Art wins it. Banana Muffin was second. And then finishing a third was Century Isabella, and fourth Better Than Glamour, a mile of 1:58. Well, Up the Credit with Art, and our pick 5 tickets, well, we're up a creek without a paddle, Rob.
Yeah, we are, and we're going to have to make sure we lock down a winner on closing night, Gary, because I was hoping it would be tonight that we both get to cash a ticket, but not going to happen. Listen, Up the Credit with Art, I kind of said that the likely pace setter and then released the favorite, so got to the front with ease and then released the favorites, had a perfect 2-hole trip. And you mentioned it earlier. You said the class relief on this one would probably give her a much better shot, and that's exactly what it did. She's a 4-year-old mare that paced past a 2-year-old filly, so that would certainly give her a big enough edge in the stretch to go by. And I guess I kind of overlooked the fact that this was a pretty significant drop back down in class.
You know what was interesting also? Banana Muffin coming on at the finish to pick up second, because I thought going to 3/4, maybe Banana Muffin had flattened out on the outside. Then got tucked down to the inside by Chris Johnston and did find a gear, because actually it was closing well in the finish there.
Yeah, Banana Muffin might be kind of like a one-pace type, because was kind of moving forward. Then when they kicked it up in the third quarter, kind of looked like she flattened out a bit. And then when they kind of slowed down coming for home, she came on again. So she could be a one-pace type, but ended up finishing second and a solid second again. And it ends up actually coming in with the 4 horses. It's only a 6-horse field, but coming with the 4 horses I used in the Super. Just unfortunately, I went with Century Isabella on top and Keeter in my pick 5.
Well, we might be starting off already with a pick 5 that some people might not have, although Up the Credit with Art, 2-1 on the board. If you just fanned out a little bit in that first race, you probably could have that one, but we'll see. Some people might have just singled Up the Credit with Art, and if they did, boy, credit to them. 6-1-2-8. Number 6 Up the Credit with Art. 4-year-old Up the Credit brown mare. Owned by Jim Wilson. Trained by Jacob Murray. Austin Sorey, the winning drive. It is the second win this year in lifetime for Up the Credit with Art. Mile of 1:58. The first range payouts: number 6 Up the Credit with Art, 650, 370, 210. 1 Banana Muffin pays 370 and 210. And 2 Century Isabella, 210, $2 exact or $18.40 try, 1635. Dollar super effective, 42.30. The first race over a finish from the tops at 236 double scratch 154. That's 236 scratch 154.
Up the credit with Art wins the opener, just 2-1 on the odds board, but judging by the doubles, I think that maybe she was a bigger knockout in that pick five as well. So good luck if you are still trucking in that wager. Sadly, Gary and I are not. Let's look at race number 2, though. We got Horses and Geldings Nominators of 5,000 lifetime on the pace. And I went to number 3, Regal Tempest, in this contest. And, the last line at Flamborough Downs is one that, it's not the best one, obviously. Made a break in stride on it being distant. So that's a bit of a concern. That was in a condition claimer. Now getting back into essentially a nominators of 1 or nominators of 5,000 life. I think the inside post should help as well. And before that last effort was racing at Mohawk Park and non-winners of 1 against tougher horses, Global Crush, Mission Command, Take a Gamble. So should like, getting over here to Grand River Raceway, working from, post 3, even money, tough price to take, but I do understand why this one's taking so much support and is my top selection in the race. But I was spreading out here in the pick 5. And number 2, Salzburg Genesis, is interesting to me because first-time starter off a pretty good qualifier at Truro, solid connections, and does show a little bit of gate speed. That break 2 qualifiers back, maybe a bit of a concern, but taking money right now at 2-1. Salzburg Genesis might be the one if you do want to play against that even money favorite, but it'll be interesting to see where they end up price-wise come post time. Number 9, Illusionist Hanover. I thought that before the break on September 3rd here, it looked pretty good. Was moving to the outside and making a move in a race that was won by Speed Limit. Jumped it off. Since then, racing against much tougher at Mohawk Park. Maybe, prefers that bigger surface, and that's why he was over there. Comes back here now from the trailing post. Question is, where does he get away off the gate? But if he can get into the race, I think he might have a chance. I see Ontario Racing puts this one on top. I don't mind that, especially at a price of now 12-1, because I did like the way he looked on September 3rd before he ended up making a break in stride. Number 6, Lions Drinking a Bud. Just one that I think you got to look at for a price play somewhere underneath on your ticket, whether it be the trifecta or superfecta wager. It was in a fairly cheap condition claim or 2 back for $7,000, but I like the effort last time, finishing 3rd at Hanover on September the 18th, and just think that maybe Nick Stewart can work out a decent trip for this one, and they can end up getting a smaller share of it. 25-1 of the boards, a pretty robust price on this 3-year-old gelding by Sweet Lou. So I'll have that one in the third and fourth spot in my exotics. But for me, I'm going to stick with number 3, Regal Tempest on top, 8-5. But I do like the price right now of 3-1 on number 2, Salzburg Genesis. I'd give that one a long look, and we'll see how he looks on the track before making the first start in his career. Horse moving out on the track for the second race. We'll come back and talk about more with Gary Guy after the post break.
Field for the second on parade 1, D.H. Boston, Chris Johnston for Don Thompson. Number 2 is Salzburg Genesis, Brian McDonald for Dr. Trevin Shive and Salzburg Stables. Number 3 is Regal Tempest, Robert Chempert for Rod Boyd and Dr. Reg Westgarth. Number 4, Prince Was a Trotter, Tyler Jones for Ruth Moore and James Hasty. Correction, Tyler Jones. 5 is Joey Delicious, Colin Kelly for Ricky Montgomery and J.J. Stable. Number 6, Lions Drinking a Bud, Nick Stewart for Caleb Stevens. Number 7, Stonebridge Nike, Chris Matthews for Jessica Breeze Karn and Jeff Bryan and Desmond Scott. And the braid is Salzburg Boomer, George Ketros for Jeffrey Williamson and Salzburg Stables. And 9 is Illusionist Hanover Jason Rod for Jean-Guy Bellevaux. Let's get a look at this field, and we're going to start with number 3, Regal Tempest. And, well, Regal Tempest is one that should be interesting in here. Changing venues and trying to get things rocking. Regal Tempest, Rob, now is a co-favorite at 8-5.
Co-favorite 8-5, and Salzburg Genesis is one that intrigues me. But I did go with Regal Tempest on top. Those lines at Mohawk Park, obviously that's against, significantly tougher than what he's going to face this evening. The last effort at Flamborough Downs, obviously, made a break in stride. A little bit of a concern there, but on the overall, class relief for this one, I think he should be tough in here. But you're still looking at a horse that has not hit the board in 7 starts lifetime.
Yeah, that's definitely a challenge. You see the speed, though. That's the thing that jumps out. 54-3 and 55-1 in a qualifier. And also, you see even a 27-4 final quarter. So it's there. And then making that break last time out at Flamborough just 4 days ago. So we'll need to be kind of treated carefully. That might open the door. The one that you think it might open the door is actually getting bet pretty largely. Salzburg Genesis. Your thoughts on being off 22 days since the qualifier and coming in from Truro?
Well, it's a situation where we wish we could know what's going on with him. I mean, hoping that he's schooled or he's got some pretty big training miles since then. He looks good on the track right now. Looks pretty alert and ready for a decent performance. That qualifier at Truro is one that is pretty solid when you look at it, and something that I love about it is consecutive faster quarters. So 31-4, 30-3, 29-3, then 29-1 home. So that's what I typically look for in a horse that comes into it just off a qualifier, and inside post to work from, shows early foot. And even the money, right? We got to respect the money this one's taking at 8-5 because it looked like a race where Regal Tempest would be the favorite. And now you've got this one who is the favorite right now, maybe not at post time, but has taken significant support throughout.
Well, if you don't want one of those two that are getting all of the action, then maybe 9 Illusionist Hanover at 6-1 because one that hasn't hit the ticket but shows qualifying here in 58-1 and shows at 55-4 mile just 2 races ago at Mohawk. There's some speed there. We'll see if Illusionist Hanover can get a trip, though, from the trailer post.
Yeah, I wish he had his nose on the gate. That was the big knock for me. I put him in the third spot, and I'd be really excited about 7-1 on this one. be perfectly honest. If he had an inside post with his nose on the gate, he doesn't. Question is, where does he get away? I thought he looked really good before he made that break on September the 3rd. He was moving to the outside and actually, marching forward. So it'll be interesting to see what trip he gets tonight and if he can handle the half-mile surface. The qualifier was a good one, but then he did jump it off in his follow-up effort. 7-1, though, I think that's some pretty good value on Illusionist Hanover.
Number 6, Lions Drinking a Bud, comes in off of a better start at Hanover. Likes Hanover. Got a win there back in the middle of August and then raced well last time out to finish third.
Yeah, when I was growing up, my dad would always say, never ignore the horse that has a win in a race where no one else does. And he's the lone winner in the field, so he knows what it takes to win a race. It was at Hanover, not winners of 2000 Life, but I mean, it's not like this is a far cry from that. He's 35-1 on the board right now. I slotted him in the 4th spot, to get a smaller piece of the exotics at a price. And well, he's exactly that right now. He's a monster number on the board, 35-1, and he's the only horse that's tasted victory.
And the horse we're probably disrespecting is 5, Joey Delicious. Now, is that last race, September the 10th here, not good, but just before that, Colin Kelly driving. This one finished third in 58, and Colin's been kind of on fire of late.
Oh, he's been on fire. Yeah, our leading driver here at Grand River. And, you look at the horse he's been racing against. You see YS Delight, you see Speed Limit. 2 horses that I would back with both hands in this race. So maybe I missed something here on Joey Delicious. He's taking support, that's for sure. 5-1 on the board.
Well, the ones that are getting the support, 2 Salisbury Genesis at 9-5 and 3 Regal Tempest also at 9-5. So some value plays maybe in the 5 and 9, both at 5-1. There could be some interesting value in there. And then also Lions Drinking a Bud. Well, if you really want the price, 40-1. That's a very interesting price, Rob. It's a field of 9 in behind the gate, taking up their positions. D.H. Boston, Salisbury Genesis, Regal Tempest on the inside. In the center, Prince was a trotter, Joey Delicious. And on the outside, Lions Drinking a Bud, Stonebridge and Nike, Salisbury Boomer, and the second tier, Illusionist Hanover. It's a field of 9 for the second race. They're at the start and they're off, and it is right now Salisbury Genesis, Regal Tempest, and Joey Delicious is quickly munching up ground as they drive into the first turn. Joey Delicious is going to snack on the lead right now, and Salisbury Genesis is racing second. Lions Drinking a Bud is trying to get to the pylons third and was able to do so. Then D.H. Boston, Regal Tempest is fifth away. Illusionist Hanover is racing sixth, and back to Prince was a trotter. Then Stonebridge and Nike in Salisbury Boomer. Joey Delicious at 9-1 is in front by about 3 1/4, and Salisbury Genesis is racing second. Lions Drinking a Bud third, then D.H. Boston. The field is spread out as Joey Delicious is munching along nicely and leads by 2 1/4. 28-2, the opening panel. Salisbury Genesis second. Lions Drinking a Bud is third. Then it is D.H. Boston if they race off the turn. Regal Tempest is still in mid-pack fifth and is about 9 or 10 lengths off the lead. Then Illusionist Hanover, and back further Prince was a trotter to the outside, Stonebridge and Nike, and then Salisbury Boomer and off stride Prince was a trotter. 58-2 the halftime, a 30-second second panel. It was Joey Delicious who leads it right now by 3. Racing second, Salisbury Genesis, and Lions Drinking a Bud. D.H. Boston now has moved to the outside, and D.H. Boston has struck to the outside and is moving and popping out of the pocket. There goes Salisbury Genesis, and Salisbury Genesis rolls on by Joey Delicious. And D.H. Boston now has moved up and has taken over second of the field, rounds third base. 127 4 the 3/4. Salisbury Genesis, D.H. Boston, Joey Delicious has dropped back to third, and now Lions Drinking a Bud is moving on the outside. And now fourth is Joey Delicious, and fifth is Illusionist Hanover. They come on down the stretch drive. Salisbury Genesis, they come on to the finish with D.H. Boston. Salisbury Genesis is going to win. D.H. Boston was second. Then Lions Drinking a Bud was third. And Illusionist Hanover fourth, 156-2. Salisbury Genesis, Rob, when he popped out there going to 3/4, he made it look pretty easy getting by Joey Delicious.
Yeah, it was definitely race over at that point when he just was showing clear racetrack. And it was one of those situations, Gary. But I know you would have probably lodged the protest. I wish I could have switched my pick. We're locked in, to our selections prior to the races. But just I know he took a lot of support. He went back up to 5-2, but that support throughout kind of told me that this horse would be live today. He looked great on the track, and that qualifier was a good looking one as well. And you end up getting this one down at 5-2, and probably a decent price actually in the pick five as well.
Well, and probably the early money was definitely telling us something that the horse would be ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, definitely. Early money, and again, like it came in early, and then it kind of floated up, then it came down again. So, and it looks like he could, go out there and race again. Lions drinking a bud though, 39-1, snuck onto the trifecta ticket.
Yeah, and number three, Regal Tempest, didn't really seem to fire all that much.
No, didn't have much to offer tonight. Interesting to see this one, come back, and it was racing on short rest this evening, so maybe that had something to do with it.
Definitely, Salisbury Genesis was off 22 days, and that was a nice rest, but he used every bit of that rest to be ready to rock, and he had it all going on. As Salisbury Genesis eventually was 5-2 on the board. Three Regal Tempest went off at 4-5. Coming back in front of us will be the winner of race number 2. It is number 2, Salisbury Genesis. Takes his career debut. Salisbury Genesis in 156 and 2. A 3-year-old Sunshine Beach Bay gelding, owned by Salisbury Stables of Windsor, Nova Scotia. The trainer is Dr. Trevin Shive, and Brett McDonald is the winning driver. Salisbury Genesis scores in his debut mile in 156 and 2. The second race payouts to Salisbury Genesis. 784, 561, DH Boston, 850 and 580, and 6 lines drinking a bud, 1310. $2 exactor, 47.10. Dollar try, 193.80. Dollar super is 658.95. And the double of 6 and 2, a $2 ticket, 23.70. In the third race, note that there is a claim entered on number 4, Bet the Limit. Race 3, claim entered for Bet the Limit. The second race over a finish from the tops at 216-953-874. That's 216-953-874.
Salzburg Genesis, very impressive in that second race. First time starter and a winner at first ask. Congratulations to Connections. Big effort from their gelding in that one. Race number 3 now, folks, is the start of our early pick 4. So start mapping out your winning wagers for that one, especially if you're like me and you're dead in the pick 5. Might as well try to get down a pick 4. We've got on the pace, Horse and Geldings claiming price tag is $15,000. The condition, though, is non-winners of $45,000 life, and there's some big-time possibilities in this race. I went to number 4, Bet the Limit, was a winner in this class last time, and I thought the effort was a good one. First over, wins by a nose, returning to Grand River after a few starts at Mohawk Park, and I just think that you've got to respect his chances to come right back and win. But right now, the odds board isn't giving him much respect at 7-2. I thought he would get bet down a lot more than that. Number 5, Tahuya Brew, is the one I think is intriguing in here. Had a third and a second, 2 starts back and 3 starts back in this class. Thought he raced really well in both those efforts, and maybe with a little more racing luck, might have been able to propel himself to a victory. And I think that's the value on the board right now. I see them kind of lone wolfing it with Tahuya Brew in my top 4 anyways. But I do like the price that he's currently sitting at right now, 7-1 on Tahuya Brew. One that I think is a bust-out chance for that pick 5 and the pick 4 wager. Number 9, A Better Man, trailing post. Well, 50-1 right now on the board on A Better Man. That's a pretty sizable price. Finished third in here last time, only beaten 3/4 of a length. Gets to work from the trailing post today. Custom cut on the rail. It has shown speed in the past. He's also shown 2 breaks at the start, so that's a bit of a concern following that one out. But a custom cut is one that can get away well when he's at his best. So if that can happen tonight, A Better Man might be able to get away decently off the gate and should not be a price of 50-1. Now 30-1. That price is insane. He should be a much much lower price than that. Number 2, Thunder Romps. Well, this is one that I think has a chance in here. Finished second last time at Flamborough Downs in a condition claimer from the pole position, and now gets a good post to start from here tonight in post 2. Has hit the board in 7 of 14 this season. Just 2 wins, but one that has been there on the ticket quite often. 80-1 on the board. Well, I mean, my eyes are working correctly, but the source should not be 80-1. So right now, Captain Ray's taking a lot of money. And listen, Captain Ray's done very well here, and racing now for Lindsay Kerr, who's had a fantastic season. One that I probably overlooked in here. I see Ontario Racing went in that direction. No one else did, though. Everyone else actually left Captain Ray out of their top 4. Raced well last time at Sarnia, but I think even money is too short of a price on that one. I thought Captain Ray might take a little bit of support, but not this much support. So I think a lot of these prices by post time will likely even out a little bit, because I do think right now it's a little bit top heavy with Captain Ray taking all that support. I'm going to stick with Bet the Limit on top, 7-2, now 4-1. Tahuya Brew, 9-1, still the value to me. Still the value to me right now at 9-1, and one that I'll be using in my early pick 4, that is for sure. But we'll come back with Gary Guy and take a closer look at this race in just a few moments.
Field for the third on parade. 1, Custom Cut, Robert Shepard for Gary McDonald and Christina Saudi. 2 is Thunder Romps, Tyler Jones for Courtney Robson. And number 3 is Captain Ray, Travis Henry for Lindsay Kerr and David Dayton and Michaela Romano. And 4 is Bet the Limit, Shea Harris for Bruce Squad and Ron Nopes and Sean Brisebois, claim entered. And 5, Tahuya Baru, Eddie Hensley for Ashley Hensley. Number 6, Doc Finelli, Colin Kelly for Kyle Bossens. Number 7, Lobel Bruiser, Paul McKenzie for Vern Cochran and Leonard Van Veen. Number 8 is Rock and Twist, Brad McDonald for Richard Morrow and Michelle Baril and Frederick Baril and Gabriel Morrow. And Bernard Betterman, Jason Ryan for Mitchell Tierney and Jamaxville Racing. Field of 9, race number 3 starts the Big 4. And Rob, this is a really interesting dash. A lot of the ones that we didn't talk about or that you didn't talk about also have some form and could be interesting in here. But number 4, Bet the Limit, has the claim in and got the job done now just by a nose last time out. So some of those ones that he nosed out are back in here. Bet the Limit off of a 55-mile, 3-1, nice little price.
Good price right now for sure. Looks good on the track, fired up out there, and I just thought that last time goes first over, wins by a nose, and I kind of underestimated that move from Mohawk Park to here that time. And we looked down at the bottom there, saw him winning this class earlier in the season as well. So he likes racing against this company, and I think that he's the one to beat. I know that Captain Ray's taking money from the get-go, and that's probably why he's 5-2. I think Bet the Limit will be the favorite come post time, and I think it's deservedly so. 5 out of 17 on the season. He's hit the board in 11 of those outings. And I think claim tonight, there's no reason why we're not going to see kind of a repeat of what we saw last time. And if he gets any kind of trip, I think he probably finds the winner's circle. But I think you're right, Gary. This is a very interesting race, and there's a lot of possibilities.
Number 5, Tahuya Brew, if you remember 3 races ago, my top pick Was beaten only half a length to Bet the Limit. I kind of maybe punished him a little too much last time out at Flamborough for not taking. I didn't like that effort, but it was in against much tougher, so maybe I should have looked a little bit more generous at that.
Yeah, I thought you'd be on this one tonight, to be perfectly honest, because you actually put me onto this horse. You're the one that kind of tipped me to this one and those two efforts here at Grand River. And last time I just looked at that one and said, post 7, non-winners of 3. Hey, you know what? I'm willing to forgive that. And you look at those two efforts before that, that matches up really well against this group. The 0 for 15, an obvious concern. 4 times, though, in the money so far this season. And when he races in this condition climber class, he gives his best. He puts forth his best effort. So 8-1 right now on the board. I think that's your value, and I haven't really seen that change throughout the betting.
Well, actually, talk about value. How about 13-1 on 9, A Better Man? He was right there in the hunt last race as well. If he can get the trip, he should be close.
Yeah, another one that made the transition from Mohawk Park over here to Grand River and got a difficult trip. Hung out in 26-4 on September the 13th, and I think everyone punished him for that effort when he finished 6-23. He went off a 23-1 last time and only got beat by a slim margin. The trailing post, we try to steer clear from it as much as we can, but I thought I had to put this one in the third spot, and I'm a little bit surprised he hasn't taken more support than the 13 he is right now, 13-1 that he is right now.
Number 2, Thunder Romps, raced really well at Flamborough last race, and it gets the same, a good post again. Probably could get the same trip, might leave and get a pocket trip. Thunder Romps, 11-1.
Yeah, Thunder Romps, interesting one in here, 11-1 on the board. I was thinking he might go off at a double-digit price. I thought that might be wishful thinking. Right now, 10-1. And last time raced well at Flamborough Downs and gets another inside post to work from. He's capable of getting forwardly placed. If he ever trips out, I think he's dangerous. I really do. If he ever ends up in the 2-hole or gets on a helmet, but especially if he gets forwardly placed and can fire at them in the stretch, he could end up getting the lion's share of this. And the price is still pretty solid at 9-1.
And I know we disregarded posts 7 and 8, Lobel Bruiser and Rock and Twist, really good horses. Lobel Bruiser made a break last race, but Captain Ray at 5-2 is getting a lot of love, and I've loved Lindsay Kerr's barn in the past.
Yeah, a lot of love throughout the betting, and that last effort at optional $8,500 claimer was a good one. Only got beat half a length in Sarnia. So, I overlooked this one. 5-2, I couldn't get there anyways. I don't think there's much value at that price.
I think this is a really interesting dash. Right now, if I was going to I'd take a flyer on the value play of 7 Lobel Bruiser at 19-1. We'll just see if that unfolds because Lobel Bruiser's been on fire. Taking up their positions, Custom Cut, Thunder Romps, and Captain Ray on the inside of the center. Bet the Limit and Tahuya Baru to the outside. Doc Finelli, Lobel Bruiser, and Rock and Twist. And the second tier, A Better Man. A field of 9, race number 3. Field for the third is at the start of the rough, and Bet the Limit's going to Gunno, and Doc Finelli from the outside, Rock and Twist as they charge into the turn, and then Thunder Romps. They work their way out around the turn, and it is Bet the Limit who's got the lead. Bet the Limit and racing second, Doc Finelli. Rock and Twist is positioned third. Thunder Romps is fourth, and then Captain Ray as they work their way to the opening quarter. Then it's back to Tahuya Brew and Custom Cut, and then A Better Man, and Lobel Bruiser is last away. They race on to the opening quarter. Bet the Limit has got the lead. Bet the Limit is in front a length and a half, and 26-3 they went the opening quarter. Rock and Twist is caught on the outside. Doc Finelli, and then it is Thunder Romps. Then a gap of 3 or 4 to Captain Ray as they race off the turn. Tahuya Brew works to the outside. Then it is back to Custom Cut, and further back, racing second from last is A Better Man, and then Lobel Bruiser. Half of 54-4 as they work their way on into the backstretch. Bet the Limit leads it by about 3 or 4, and Jay Harrison, Bet the Limit, tries to bottom out the field. Doc Finelli is racing second. Rock and Twist has had a tough trip and is still working on the outside as Brett McDonald's rocking on Rock and Twist, and on the outside Tahuya Brew is out 3 wide. Down to the inside, Thunder Romps, and then it is back to Captain Ray, and then Custom Cut, and scooting through to the inside is Lobel Bruiser, and then to the outside A Better Man. But It is Bet the Limit, who appears to be long gone in the field, but has put up some pretty serious fractions. 3/4, 124 and 1. Tahuya Brew is getting a little closer. And then Captain Ray has come on to get third. And a better man to the outside is moving. And Doc Finelli's down to the inside. They come on down the stretch by Bet the Limit as they come on to the finish. Bet the Limit and Tahuya Brew. Bet the Limit wins it. Tahuya Brew was second, then third. That was Captain Ray, and Lobel Bruiser came from nowhere to get fourth. 155 and 2. Bet the Limit is the one that the fans have bet the most at 3-2. But also, you did get the exactor. You did believe in Tahuya Brew, and that was second, Rob.
Yeah, I thought that Tahuya Brew was a fantastic price, even closing at 7-1, and that was the exacta that I liked. But Bet the Limit. Jay Harris said, "Hey, listen, I'm on the best horse in the race. We're claimed tonight. We're going to go right to the choo-choo, and we're just going to bottom this field out." And that's what they did. I mean, he looked fired up on the track before the race, and 26 and 3, 54 and 4 for this class. Hello, what an effort by Bet the Limit. Be a much the best winner.
I was kind of wondering if Bet the Limit would be able to hold on when I saw the half, but then opened up enough to kind of bottom it out. So even though kind of came home in 31 and 1, it didn't matter because Bet the Limit was the best. The horse that I was shocked, Lobel Bruiser didn't look good early, and when I saw him come in fourth, I thought, did he cut through the infield or something? Because early on, it didn't look like he was interested.
No, not at all. But Lobel Bruiser last time made that break in stride, uncharacteristic break from the pole position as the heavy favorite. And now this time, because he's got post 7, you get 18-1. Now he ends up finishing fourth, but it was a good effort. I mean, we'll be watching him to draw inside wherever he goes after this, because he was in top form, going into his latest. And now that looks like he should be ready for another big effort again. Just needs a better post.
Well, it comes 4-5-3-7. I got off Tahuya Brew. I was a little too critical of that last race. Ian, much tougher. 4-5-3-7, but Bet the Limit was the best and was bet to 3-2. Back in front of us is number 4, Bet the Limit, a 4-year-old Better is to light brown gelding. Owned by Ron Nopes and Sean Brisebois. Bruce Goitz, the trainer. Jay Harris, the winning driver. 6th win this year, 8th lifetime. Bet the Limit, 155 and 2. The third race payouts. Number 4, Bet the Limit, 5-10, 3, 22.30. 5 Tahuya Brew, $8 and $3.80. And 3 Captain Ray, $3.30. $2 exactor, $49.60. $1 try, $73.25. The dollar super, $451.65. The third race, or her finish from the top, 973-125-486. That's 973-125-486. And the claim of number 4, Bet the Limit, the new owner and trainer, Randy Henry.
Bet the Limit getting the job done in race number 3. Big time effort on the front end and gets claimed. Moving on to new connections for next time. Going to move on to race number 4 now. On the trot, now there's a 1500 last 3. And I went to number 3, Sizzlin' Hot Herbie, who I think will make a good account of himself tonight in this class. Raced well last time at Flamborough, got away 8th off the gate, was a long way out of it, and overland before closing to finish 3rd at 50 cents, 60 cents to the dollar, it looks like, actually. So 3 to 5. And could not get to Slip and to Glide, but that one did have a pretty big advantage throughout the trip over Sizzlin' Hot Herbie. What I don't like right now is the 1 to 5 on the board. That price, to me, is a little bit too short, and the margin between him and Slip and to Glide should not be that great, but hopefully that will change come post time. My second choice is number 4, Slip and to Glide, was a winner in that contest, and this horse has got 48 lifetime wins and over $750,000 in the bank. 13 years old now, but one that you've got to always consider when racing, around this level, because he's a classy veteran who has not forgotten how to win, folks. He's got 2 wins this season out of 13 starts at the board, and 4 of them, but again, 48 wins lifetime, one you need to respect. And right now, if the odds stayed this way right till post time, I'd probably opt to go with Slip and to Glide at 4 to 1 versus the 1 to 5 on number 3, Sizzlin' Hot Herbie. Number 5, Riddle Me Miss, did not race poorly in either of her last 2. Finished second to LA Magic last time and finished in that same spot to You Can't Have It 2 starts ago, and has hit the board in each of her last 4, which, started off the season knowing the money, finishes in 7 starts, and now has done so in each of her last 4. So I think that Really Miss is one that's been an improving type, back in for the price tag again tonight, so gets to come right back in this class, has to work from post 5 instead of the pole position that she's had the last 2. But I just like the way that she's raced, and I think she's got every right to land on the ticket again tonight. 12 to 1. And right now, battling for third favoritism with our 4th pick, number 7, Mr. Arch. Does draw the outermost post in the contest. Made up some ground nicely last time to finish 3rd, beating 5 lengths to LA Magic, and wasn't too far off Really Miss for the place spot. Does have to work from that outside post, and that's probably why I didn't give him the edge over Riddle Me Miss this time, because it's going to be difficult for him to get into the race. But he's shown some gears late before, and you look at his stats for the season: 1 win in 17 starts, but he's finished 3rd 5 times. So I think he can definitely land on the bottom end of the try or the superfecta. 12 to 1 on the board looks like a logical one that you need to use somewhere in your exotic. So kind of a chalky race for me. I've got number 3, Sizzlin' Hot Herbie, on top right now at 1 to 5. Slip and to Glide, my second choice, 3 to 1. I still think he's the better value of the 2 right now, but we'll see what happens the closer we get to the word go. We'll come back, take a closer look at this 4th race with Gary Guy after the post parade.
Field on post parade for the fourth one, Thor Sealster, Travis Henry for Natalie Elliott. Number 2 is Ancaster Sealster, Nick Stewart for Peter Christie. Number 3, Sizzlin' Hot Herbie, Natasha Day, drives and trains and owns. 4 is Slip Into Glide, Tyler Jones for Courtney Robson. And number 5, Riddle Me Miss, Robert Shepard for Daryl Vleeming and Larry Beck and Don Schuldeis. Number 6, Carmen's Fluke, Andre Goy, drives and trains for Dino Fasulo. And number 7 is Mr. R, Shelfie Carroll for Randy Fulmer and Phil Catcher. Field of 7 trotters for the fourth race. And, well, Rob, it's kind of chalky on the board, as you mentioned. 3, Sizzlin' Hot Herbie. But I've seen this one race against much tougher and be competitive against a tougher. And you do see this one winning June the 23rd in an upper condition class and 58 and 4 mile. But also, Sizzlin' Hot Herbie has back class and has actually been competitive against a preferred type as well.
Yeah, he's got the most recent back class, I'd say, in the race, and that victory here at Grand River back June 23rd when he won by a nose, that was a gritty effort from this one. I don't even know if he was really at his best on that occasion, but he held off Polar Hall, who's a pretty good trotter as well. And you look at the last few starts, you see some pretty difficult competition. There's no question about that. Lost Valley Kilamigo, Charmbo Prince, Tambo Houdini, and then getting down, to a class similar to this at Flamborough Downs last time and rallying to finish third. And looks pretty good on the track right now. 1-2 on the board. For me, that is a little bit short just because, Slip Into Glide did have a big trip edge on him last time, but is a much better price at 7-2.
And I love that you used that most recent back class. If we're just talking about overall back class, well then $750,000 for this 13-year-old kind of qualifies him as the class.
Oh, 100%. He's the class of the race, no question. 48 lifetime wins, over $750,000. And look at how he looks in the track right now. I'm taking notice on Slip Into Glide right now on the track. He looks like a confident racehorse, and it's horses like him with that tremendous back class that you mentioned, Gary. When they start winning, they feel good about themselves. They haven't forgotten how to win. He's 13 years old, looks really good on the track right now, and I'd say if I had to decide who am I going to bet between him and Sizzlin' Hot Herbie, I'd go in the direction of Slip Into Glide in this moment just because of the discrepancy in price.
And definitely Slip Into Glide didn't do it the easy way last time out as well. So you get back-to-back good races coming in. One to look at here, number 5, Riddle Me Miss. Now, one that doesn't have a win this year, only won last year. So I imagine both of us are thinking that this one's more to use on the ticket as opposed to one that we think might pull the upset.
Yeah, one that hits the board with frequency. I can't see Riddle Me Miss winning in here. I think she's raced well in each of her last 4, really, and we saw 2 solid efforts here at Grand River. LA Magic, You Can't Have It. 2 decent horses in their own right. I'm not sure if I'd bet either one of those, though, against Sizzlin' Hot Herbie or Slip Into Glide the way he looks right now. But Riddle Me Miss is one I'd be using underneath. She hits the board with frequency, and I can see her doing it again tonight.
And a lot of those 22 wins were over at Flamborough, so I'm very familiar with Riddle Me Miss because earlier in his career, he was racing at Flamborough regularly. One more, number 7, Mr. Arch, Alfie Carroll for Randy Fulmer, and, a little light in the top 2, but 8 third-place finishes out of the past 30, and third last time out.
Yeah, third last time out, 5 show spots so far on the year out of 17 starts. And if it wasn't for post 7, you might be able to say this one might be able to creep up to a higher position in the race, and hasn't really had much luck drawing posts. Post 6 last 2, post 8 at Sarnia, trailing post at Leamington, now 7-hole again tonight. I think Mr. Arch is in need of a better starting spot, that's for sure, but I think he can still get onto the superfecta, maybe the trifecta ticket this evening.
Well, we are just getting close down to post time, and right now we're looking. Now the odds have gotten a little closer, Rob. Sizzlin' Hot Herbie at 4-5, Slip Into Glide at 8-5. Anything else that you've noticed on the tilt board that catches your interest?
I mean, I did kind of look at Thor's seal. So he's got a shoe change tonight, and is another one that lands underneath. Doesn't really hasn't won in the last two seasons, but can maybe hit the board somewhere 19-1. Bit of value on him, but again, just an underneath play, in my opinion, on number one Thor Sealster. And I guess really it depends where these odds end up, because if they end up even, I'd probably stick with Sizzling Hot Herbie on top, but. 8-5. I just thought Slippin' to Clyde looked fantastic on the track. He's got a bow in his neck. I guess we'll see shortly if he can go out there and be a repeat winner.
Well, it is a field of 7 trotters for race number 4. Taking up their positions, the fans are trying to decide between Sizzlin' Hot Herbie and Slippin' to Glide. We'll see if they've narrowed it down to the right 2 or if we get an upset as one of the legs on the pick 5. And taking up their position, Thor Sealster, Ancaster Sealster on the inside, Sizzlin' Hot Herbie, and Slippin' to Glide and Riddle Me Miss. And the outside Carmen's Fluke and Mr. Arch. Field of 7, race number 4. They're into the stretch drive. Gathering speed. They're at the start of the rough. Slippin' to Glide and Thor Sealster on the outside. Carmen's Fluke and Mr. Arch. And then it is Ancaster Sealster. Riddle Me Miss. And Sizzlin' Hot Herbie relaxed away on the inside, trailing the field. On into the backstretch they go. And Slippin' to Glide was able to slip into the lead as they work into the backstretch. And then Carmen's Fluke is racing second. Thor Sealster third. Then, about 4 lengths back, fourth is Ancaster Sealster. Sizzlin' Hot Herbie has moved up a couple spots, and then it is Riddle Me Miss and Mr. Arch. They race on to the opening quarter and Slippin' to Glide on past the opening quarter and has a lead of a length and a half right now. That is Carmen's Fluke, who's racing second for Andre Goy, and Thor Sealster is third. And then to the outside, Sizzlin' Hot Herbie is steadily advancing on the outside for Natasha Day. Ancaster Sealster is racing fifth. And then it is back to Riddle Me Miss, and trailing is Mr. Arch, but it is still Slippin' to Glide who's got the lead. Slippin' to Glide. Carmen's Fluke racing about length and 3/4 from the front. Sizzlin' Hot Herbie has passed another one and has made it up to third. Thor Sealster is on the inside and is racing position to fourth. Then it is back further to Ancaster Sealster, Riddle Me Miss, and Mr. Arch, but it is Slippin' to Glide who's got the lead. And then Sizzlin' Hot Herbie now has passed another horse and is up to second. Has only one left to pass, and that is Slippin' to Glide, who's got a lead of about a length. But on the outside, Sizzlin' Hot Herbie was well back early, now is bearing down on Slippin' to Glide, and those two are dueling by 3/4. 129 and 2. Slippin' to Glide to the inside. Sizzlin' Hot Herbie on the outside wanting to wear down Slippin' to Glide. Carmen's Fluke is racing third. Then Riddle Me Miss, Mr. Arch, Thor Sealster, and Ancaster Sealster. And Sizzlin' Hot Herbie and Natasha Day on the outside is right alongside Slippin' to Glide. But Slippin' to Glide is hanging tough on the inside. Slippin' to Glide. Slippin' to Glide fought back, and then Sizzlin' Hot Herbie was second. Carmen's Fluke and Riddle Me Miss 159 and 4. Well, Rob, it looked like Nat Day had Slippin' to Glide measured, and then Slippin' to Glide said, "You know what? I got $750,000 in the bank, and I know what to do with you. Drive on."
That's right. And 49 wins now. I was thinking the whole mile. I was like, they're going to let Slippin' to Glide waltz around here in the front end. Well, they're probably going to have a tough time catching this one. He got the middle half in 1:01. Well, when you give a horse like Slippin' to Glide that kind of respect on the front end, he's going to be tough to beat. And listen, Sizzlin' Hot Herbie gave a really good effort. There's no question about it, because he got away tardy off the gate, and then just I think the game plan was to just not be in any kind of trouble and just march up and be the best horse in the race. But Slippin' to Glide is one that I thought looked pretty solid out there on the track before the race. Had a bow in his neck, looked very confident, and now he's won 2 in a row. And when a horse like him, starts feeling good about themselves again, they swell up, and they might be able to beat even tougher than what he's facing here tonight.
Well, to be honest, top of the stretch, I thought that Natasha Day was going to be going by just by the way the lead was shrinking and shrinking. But it was just when it was go time, Slippin' to Glide said, "No, no, no, no. I know what to do here."
Yeah, an 8 to 5 versus the 1 to 2. That's what I kept talking about, right? Is the price discrepancy, and we were looking at bigger prices throughout on Slip and to Glide, but I don't really think there was even a debate for me who I would bet to win, anyways, between the two of them. If you're going to tell me 1 to 2 versus 8 to 5, just because last time, well, Slip and to Glide got the better of that rival.
And then look at Carmen's Fluke. We were trying to think who would land on the ticket. We went 5-7, both of us. Well, we didn't show any respect to Carmen's Fluke. 60-1.
No, and that's going to certainly help out these exotics. There's no question about that. And love the aggressive drive, right? Left out hard and was kind of left out there. And I think that Tyler Jones accelerated to open up the 2 hole. That one was able to drop in and then stick around for third at a bomb price of 60-1.
Well, coming back in front of us is number 4, Slip Into Glide, a 13-year-old Yankee glide. Bay Gelding, owned by Courtney Robson, who's also the trainer. Tyler Jones, the winning driver, 49th lifetime win for Slip Into Glide, and the third this year, 159-4. Fourth race payouts for Slip Into Glide, 540, 210, 240. 3 Sizzling Hot Herbie, 210, 220. 6 Carmen's Fluke, $7. $2 exactor, $760 try, 87.35. The dollar super, 271.25. The fourth race order of finish from the top says 672-1435. That's 672-1435.
The ever so classy Slip and the Glide notched his 49th career victory in race number 4. Congratulations to his connections. And now we're under race 5, the money leg in that pick 5. Good luck if you're still kicking, because, it's not who wins, it's more who you get beat, because the biggest price we've seen is 5-2, and they're paying handsomely. Right now, YS Delight, the lowest one at $93.20, and Frowny's Miracle, our current favorite, is paying $196.20. So pretty solid probables right now in that pick 5. Good luck if you are still alive. Let's take a look at this race number 5, though it is the start of the pick 3. So whether you're alive or not in that pick 5, you might as well start mapping out a pick 3 ticket. Horse and Geldings now winners of $15,000 a lifetime, and I did go to number 7, YS Delight on top, but Frowny's Miracle right now taking a ton of support at 2-5. We'll get to that one in a second. YS Delight is one that I've been on in each of his last 2, and really all of his last 4 here at Grand River. I've been in his corner. He disappointed me those 2 times back in July. Then went out to Charlottetown in PEI, had 2 wins out there. Then when he came back, he's been a more confident and horse that makes some pretty big moves late. He's won his last 2 here. He paid just under 2-1 2 starts back, and 7-1 last time in this class. Had to do it from off the pace. We'll probably have to do that again this evening. 6-1 on the board. That was a big price on one that I think is in top form right now, and he's hit the board in all 8 of his career starts, and he's won half of them. So you got to respect number 7, YS Delight. But number 4, Frowny's Miracle. First start off the claim for trainer Kyle Bossens and driver Colin Kelly, our leading trainer and our leading driver here at Grand River. Rock solid connections that we never, ever want to ignore. And while that one is paying, double what number 7 YS Delight is in the pick 5, 3-5 on the board right now, taking all kinds of support. And I think Gary thought he'd be getting the bigger price in here, but right now he's on the favorite. That might change come post time, but Frowny's Miracle off the claim for these connections and off a win. Was a winner at Leamington last time, but ended up getting disqualified and placed 7th for a pylon violation in the opening turn. Frowny's Miracle has a big chance, so price still 3-5, pretty short. Number 2, Full Credit. I thought raced pretty well here. 2 starts back. Did race against tougher last time, but got away 8th and closed to finish 6th. I think with the inside post now, can get a piece of it in here. I like the price right now at 25-1 on Full Credit. I think that this gelding is good enough to land a share in here. And at that number, I'll be using them all over the place in my trifecta and superfecta wagers. And then the 3, Pompano Beach, finished 2nd last time to YS Delight at a big number, 38-1. That was from the trailing post. Now gets his nose on the gate. Might be able to get away somewhere decently, and then charge late to get another piece of it again tonight. 7-1 on the board. I think that's probably the right price. Morning line was 5-2, but I think should be around 5, 6, or 7-1, somewhere in that range anyways. But for me, I'll stick with number 7, YS Delight as my top selection, 5-1. Love that price right now. Would be shocked if he still goes off at that come post time since he's won 4 in a row and has not missed the board in 8 starts lifetime. But number 4, Frowny's Miracle, the talk of the toe board right now, and debuting for rock solid connections this evening. We'll come back and take a closer look at this race 5, the start of the pick 3 with Gary Guy after the post break.
Field for the 5th on parade. 1 is Alley Flight. Next Stewart for Brian Schufelt. Number 2 is Full Credit. Tom Smith for Jane Walker. Number 3 is Pompano Beach. Scott called for Dan Gassian. Number 4 is Frowny's Miracle, Colin Keller for Kyle Bostons and Dale Betts. 5 is Little Willie, Austin Sorry for Mike Timpano and Wendy Warren Timpano. And number 6, Hello You, Andre Guay for Gino Toscani. Number 7, YS Delight, Robert Shepard for Gary McDonald. And number 8 is Spicy P. Chris Matthews for Jessica Breeze Carn and Desmond Scott and Gary Lyons and Stephen Byers. And 9, Favero Sealster, Brad Madonna for Matt Dupuy and Keith Castle. Field of 9 for race number 5. It's the final leg of the pick 5, and well, we're not in it, Rob. We got knocked out early. But look at somebody who's in this with Frowny's Miracle or YS Delight is very interested in this one, and a few other horses as well. Let's take a look first at number 7, YS Delight. And if people are worried that, well, outside post position, last race you said that he raced from off the pace. How about off the county? He was way back.
Yeah, he was way out of it, and he really charged home nicely. Back half in 56 seconds flat, and he was really moving and kind of one in hand, after being more than 15 lengths out of it at the quarter pole. That was from post 6, and he really hasn't had much luck drawing a post here. Had post 6 in each of his last 2, and he won from post 7 in Charlottetown on August the 19th. So he's one that can get it done from the outside. The money's coming in now. He was 6-1, kind of a wild price to be honest, but now dropping down to 5-2 YS Delight. But you'll probably be at the mercy again to racing from off the pace.
And Rob, I guess you don't have to be a rocket surgeon to figure out that 4 Frowny's Miracle might be a play in here. Cullen Kelly, Kyle Boston's first start with those connections.
Yeah, just we've seen these connections just dominate all season long, and you went to this one on top, and you might get up to a better price now, Gary, because the margin is 7-5 versus even money now, and maybe this horse floats up to 2-1. But wow, that's been serious money throughout the betting for horses paying almost double than what YS Delight is in the pick 5. And you look at the last effort too, first place 7th, so got the job done. So not only you get to debut now for these connections, but actually won his last start as well in a condition claimer at Leamington, one that does have a little bit of foot off the gate. And Cullen Kelly is showing us all season long that he can get them fired up off the switch. So Frowny's Miracle was my clear-cut second choice in here, but I totally understand the support throughout the betting.
And Christine chirping me for saying rocket surgeon. Our good friend Chuck Fraley, you didn't know Chuck, but he had a bunch of sayings like that, like nobody's human. That was one of my favorite Chuckanese. Let's take a look at number 3, Pompano Beach. And, I wanted to take Pompano Beach on top, and I almost did. Trailer Post last him out, now gets a spot on the gate, and was only beaten a length and a half. Pompano Beach, 19-1.
Yeah, Pompano Beach not getting much respect again this time around. I thought that he would, because he was 38-1 last time, went an overland journey to finish second, and it was a solid effort to do so, and especially considering he was one that hadn't been racing here before that. He'd been racing on Elmer's, Atua, Kawartha, Flamborough, and Georgian, so our first kind of look at him is one that was a solid effort in 54-4. So I thought Pompano Beach should be around 5 or 6 to 1. 19-1 is a pretty attractive number on this son of Believe in Bruiser.
And number 2, Full Credit, was really good here 2 races ago. Now, the class below it, but knew what to do with the post position and fire. Didn't fire as hard last race, had to work from off the pace. But if Full Credit's up and going early, he could maybe land on the ticket.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him leave out tonight. Post 2 is a little bit better than post 4, and 2 starts back, was aggressively handled on the lead and couldn't hold off YS Delight, but he was bet down to favoritism ahead of that one. And now tonight he's 50-1. I think that's a massive overland Full Credit, and I'm not necessarily saying he can win the race, but I would not be leaving him off the bottom end of your trifectas and supers, because he might be able to really boost the value of those wagers, and if he gets away well enough and can sit a trip, he should have every right to land somewhere on the ticket.
And you know who I used on the bottom of the ticket was 9 Favero Seals. Now, this one was racing very well earlier this summer, has kind of fallen off, but I see some signs coming back. First up trip at Hanover last race, competitive. Look at that mile 2 race ago, mile of 54 at Georgian Downs. Favero Sealster's 50-1.
Yeah, some big price on the board right now. 50-1 of Favero Sealster. And you get to follow out a horse that has had the lead at the quarter pole in each of his last 3 efforts. So pretty wild there. And number 8, Spicy P, Gary. Well, that one would spice things up a little bit. Give us a carryover in that pick 5.
That would be interesting for a carryover into Wednesday for our final dash. But it'll be tough, post position 8, but things can happen. Raced well at Woodbine last time out. Field for race number 5, Alley Flight. Full Credit and Pompano Beach on the inside. Of the center, Frowny's Miracle, Little Willie. And to the outside, Hello You, YS Delight, and Spicy P. In the second tier, Favero Sealster. Field of 9, race number 5. Here they come. There at the start of the route, Frowny's Miracle is going to bolt out with Little Willie and Hello You. Alley Flight and Full Credit and Pompano Beach, but they charge into the turn. Frowny's Miracle has got the lead. Frowny's Miracle's in front. Little Willie is second. Alley Flight's to the inside, and Hello You now is on the outside third. Alley Flight is fourth, and then Full Credit back to Pompano Beach, and then Favero Sealster. Then YS Delight and Spicy P. They race on to the opening quarter. Frowny's Miracle, even money on the board, has a lead of a couple of lengths right now. Little Willie, a length and 3/4 back, and Alley Flight is racing third. Hello You is fourth, and then it is back to Full Credit and Pompano Beach and Favero Sealster in front of YS Delight, who's second from last, and then Spicy P trails the field. They race off the turn. They come on towards us. Up at 27-2 opening quarter. It is Frowny's Miracle and Colin Kelly leading up to the half in front by 2. Halftime off that 27-2 opening quarter is 56-4, and Little Willie is still there racing position second, but Pompano Beach on the outside is getting up a little bit closer, and Alley Flight is on the inside racing fourth, and now Favero Sealster is spotted second over and is being followed by YS Delight. Still got lots of work to do, is now sixth, then racing seventh is Hello You, then Spicy P and Full Credit. It is Frowny's Miracle as they race their way to the 3/4 of a 56-4 halftime. Little Willie still staying there in the hunt. Pompano Beach and YS Delight went around Favero Sealster and is all the way up to fourth now and is getting closer with every step. It is Frowny's Miracle. YS Delight on the outside is 3 wide and charging 3/4, 125-4. And YS Delight now has come on. YS Delight and Frowny's Miracle. YS Delight and Frowny's Miracle is hanging tough. It's Frowny's Miracle to fend off YS Delight. Then Pompano Beach and Little Willie, 156-1. An interesting dash as YS Delight came from way back, but couldn't get by Frowny's Miracle, Rob.
couldn't get past Frowny's Miracle. Real game effort from that one. He had his tail up early, pedal down, and I thought that Westlake was going to go right on by. He marched up with confidence and just couldn't get there. This one was just too tough. On the front end, got back down to even money. Frowny's Miracle. I know you were hoping for a bigger price than that, Gary, but hey, like you said, I'll use another line for you. It's not Rocket Appliances. If you're a Trailer Park Boys fan, you'll understand that one. But Frowny's Miracle was the winner there over YS Delight. And you know what's interesting about that race? Before the word go, I was like, it's going to be hard to get them both on the ticket or in the exacta because one's going to be on top and one's going to come from the clouds. And wouldn't you know it, they finish just about, a head apart?
Yeah, that's about right. 4-7, the top two. And then look at Three Pompano Beach raced well to get up into the ticket for third.
Yeah, Pompano Beach, nice effort again. Difficult trip for that one, and kept grinding away. And I thought maybe he'd back away on the last turn there, but it was almost like when YS Delight came around him, he got a little more racy and came on again, and wasn't too far off in the third spot at a big price. So, we were kind of all over this here, really, and you were all over Frowny's Miracle on top, and you don't get the big win price, but in the multi legs, if you had got there, would have paid pretty nicely at $186.20, Gary.
Well, I got the try straight, 4-7-3, but I did not have 5 Little Willie at 6-1 to round out the top 4. And it is back in front of us, number 4, Frowny's Miracle. 4-year-old Warrawee Needy Bay Gelding, owned by Kyle Boston and Dale Betts. Kyle Boston is the trainer. Colin Kelly, the winning driver. Second win this year, 5th lifetime. Frowny's Miracle, 156-1. Note that mile of 156-1 is a new career best for Frowny's Miracle. The 5th race payouts, number 4, Frowny's Miracle, 430 to 92.60. 7, YS Delight, 340 to 43, Pompano Beach, 260. $2 exactor, 12.20. Dollar try, 19.55. Dollar super, 54.90. And the dollar pick 5, 932.85. 5 of 5 on a dollar ticket. The fifth race over a finish from the tops at 863-149-257. That's 863-149-257.
Gutsy performance by Frowny's Miracle in race number 5. Even money on the board, a little bit more value in that pick 5. Congratulations if you were able to cash that ticket. We're now down to the money leg of the early pick 4. But you know what that means? It's also time for our super high 5, or as Gary likes to call it, the pentafecta. One of my favorite wagers here at Grand River Raceway. We're on the pace. Philly Mares claimers. $7,000 is the price tag. It's for non-winners of $1,700 last 5. And in here, I went to number 9, Diamonds Are Twine. A little bit surprised. This one's 8-1 on the board right now. Should like getting back to this class anyways. And, gets to follow a horse that has a little bit of speed in front of her. And, yeah, it's 9-1. That's a big price. See, Cam Middleton agrees. And Gary put the horse through, and Terra Racing agrees. So I'd be shocked if this horse ends up finishing off at 9-1 on the board. But Diamonds Are Twine last time. Flamborough Downs had the pole position against Tougher. But 2 starts back and against a similar group here, had post 2, went to the front, and kept on trucking. I think should be able to get away well enough from the trailing post tonight to get into position. Number 1, She's Magic will be the one that one starts behind. And last time from post 2, went an overland journey a long way before finishing 4th at Flamborough Downs in a condition claimer. And before that, did notch a 3rd place finish at Hanover. I think that the pole position should be good for this one. Didn't show speed from that spot at Flamborough on September 5th, but got away well from post 2 last time. So I'm thinking She's magically pushing away off the gate. Number 2, War Diamond, another one with an inside post. Like to stay inside in these super high 5 races. I find they usually do land with the horses that have the better posts. And War Diamond right now at 9-2. One that has finished 4th in each of her last 2 and against similar company. And that was both times from post 3. No wins or second place finishes on the season on 13 starts, but she has finished 3rd 3 times. So I think War Diamond can land in that spot again this evening. I think that 5-1 though is probably a little bit shorter than I'd be looking for on War Diamond. The one I find interesting is number 5, Right About Laura. Last time raced at Sarnia in an open $7,000 claimer. Finished 4th in that one to Zarconia Sealster. Before that, here at Grand River, in a tougher spot than this, post 7, got away 5th, ended up fading out of it. But I'm willing to forgive horses that draw outside like that. And I just thought that, no wins the last couple of seasons, but 5 times on the board this year. Maybe Right About Laura is one you can use somewhere on that high 5 ticket to try to blow it up at a price. 24-1 right now. That's the number I'm looking for. Going to try to get her maybe in the 4th or 5th spot. And number 3, Mock Mine Blue. Closed well to finish 5th last time after getting away 7th from post 5 here at Grand River. Think maybe might get away better tonight from post 3 and then not have as much work to do to get a share of it. 9-1 on the board currently, and one I think you have to use on your tickets. But I'm going to stick with number 9, Diamonds Are Twine on top. 4-1 on the board is a big price right now. We'll see what price she ends up at. It is a super high 5 or pentafecta, and we'll talk more about this race 6 with Gary Guy after the post parade.
Field 4, race number 6 on parade. 1, She's Magic. Jason Rod for Joshua McKibben and Wayne Bradley and David Hepburn. Number 2 is War Diamond. George Ketros for Mary Ketros. And number 3 is Mock Mine Blue. Nick Stewart for Patrick Bissett. Number 4 is Ask For Me. Tyler Jones for Ruth Moore and James Hasty. 5, it's Right About Laura, Austin Sorry for Daryl Vleeming. Number 6, Joyful Kate, Brent McDonough for Jacob Murray and Jim Wilson. 7, Stiletto Blue Chip, Colin Kelly for Mike Timpetto and Wendy Warren Timpetto and Frank Tucci and Seaspray Stables. Number 8 is Outlaw Calamity Jane. It's Paul Davies for Nicole Davies. And 9 is Diamonds Are Twined, Robert Shepard for Gary McDonald and Christina Soundy. Well, it's a field of 9, race number 6, the Super High 5, and let's get a look at this field. And Rob, there are 2 horses in here in this race that have 1 win each. There are some horses with 0 wins, and then 3 horses that have 4 wins each. Also, the ones with 0 wins are 4 horses because it adds up to 9. See the mathematics there. Listen, you've got one of the horses that has 4 wins this year on top. Number 9, Diamonds Are Twined.
Yeah, Diamonds Are Twined. If her nose is on the gate and she drew inside, I'd be getting even more excited about this 7-2 right now. Now 5-1 on the board. Works from the trailing post. That's the one knock on her, but Gary, you're right. 4 for 17 of the season, and not just that, 9 of those efforts she's landed in the money. So Diamonds Are Twined to me. That effort 2 starts back right here at Grand River was a rock solid one. The question is what happens off the gate. If she gets away well, I think we might see her try to move to the lead relatively earlier in the mile. And I just looked at it and said, well, if her nose is on the gate, I might even say that she stands out or lays over them. But from the trailing post, it's obviously going to be a much tougher challenge.
Now, listen, my top one is number 3, Mock Mine Blue. And you might think I'm a little nuts here. 20-1 on the board, but Mock Mine Blue is one of the 3 horses with 4 wins. That's why I mentioned that at the beginning. Mock Mine Blue also has the best post position of the 3 with 4 wins and the best last race time. And still I'm looking at 16-1, and Patrick Bissett's having a good year. I like some of those positives. Now the price is cut in half at 10-1.
As soon as you started talking about her, your price gets knocked down by
It should
10
go up
points,
if I'm
Gary.
talking about her.
So much respect for Gary Guy tonight. Hey, listen, I like where you're going with this one. I put this horse in for 5th, but I do like the fact that, 4 wins on the season. I thought the last effort was a strong one. I really did. He closed into it nicely, and you look at the form as a whole, and it should match up well against this group. Now a better post to work from in post 3. So I put the horse as low as 5th in my selections, but I'd be using Mock Mine Blue as high as 2nd in my high 5 wagers. That's for sure, because I think if she gets away relatively well off the gate, she's got a big chance to land on the ticket. Now 6-1, Gary. We keep talking about her. The price just keeps on plummeting.
The one that you did use in 2nd is one She's Magic and battled hard last race first up. That was a good effort at Flamborough.
Yeah, it was a good effort at Flamborough. It was kind of one that I think hopefully is a sign of things to come for this one, because you go 3 back and you say, well, had the pole position, got away 7th, beaten 9 at the quarter off the gate. Last time it got away 3rd from the 2-hole and then went a pretty difficult journey first over a long way and battled. So I think She's Magic should be pushing out tonight. Hopefully it's a good trip to Diamonds Are Twined. And I went back to the old theory. If you like the 9, you got to like the 1. If you like the 1, you got to like the 9. That's why I put those 2 in my first 2 positions.
Number 2, War Diamond, you used a little further down on the ticket, and War Diamond has, again, a good post position and comes in off of a couple of good efforts.
A couple of decent efforts to finish 4th here, and last time took a lot of support down to a price of 5-2, and maybe Ward Diamond is one that just gets on the pylons again tonight and sits a decent trip to then get a share of it. I don't know if I'd be in a hurry to back her to win. She's 0 for 13 of the season. I think the price is an underlay right now at 5-1, probably just because of that inside post. But I think you got to use her somewhere in your high five ticket.
And number 5, right about Laura, you get Awesome Austin, and this one did race better last race at Sarnia.
I like that effort last time at Sarnia. That's against Open Company and a $7,000 claimer. And you look at the start here. I just said, I'm going to forgive her for it. She had post 7 on that occasion. You get Austin Sori in the bike tonight. It's down to 15-1 right now on the odds board. But I think right about Laura is one that I want to be using to hit that high five ticket, and she might be able to add some value even further up.
Well, we'll see how it unfolds. You have 9. Diamonds are twined at 5-2. My Mock Mine Blue came from 20-1 all the way down to 5-1. It's She's Magic and War Diamond on the inside with Mock Mine Blue in the center. Ask for Me and right about Laura to the outside. Joyful Kate, Stiletto Blue Chip, and Outlaw Calamity Jane. The second tier, Diamonds are twined. It's a field of 9, race number 6, and it is post time. Here they come. Field of 9 for the 6th race, gathering speed. They're at the start and they're off, and right about Laura. Stiletto Blue Chip from the outside. War Diamond, She's Magic on the inside as the field sprints on around that first turn. But right now driving on the outside, Stiletto Blue Chip 4 wide, now 3 wide. And Stiletto Blue Chip is kicking up her heels early and is able to come on and get the lead as they race on down the backstretch. And then on the inside, She's Magic, and then it is War Diamond who's racing position 3rd now. Then it is right about Laura. And back further as Diamonds are twined, then Mock Mine Blue, and then Ask for Me. And the trailing pair, Joyful Kate and Outlaw Calamity Jane, Stiletto Blue Chip. 5-2 on the board. Was able to make the lead from post position 7, and Colin Kelly looking to rein this one in now after firing her up early, and has a lead of about 4.5 lengths. Racing second is She's Magic, and then third is War Diamond. Diamonds are twined to the outside is moving now, right about Laura, and now Mock Mine Blue is striding to the outside. Then it is back to Ask for Laura, Joyful Cape, and then Outlaw Calamity Chain. 56 seconds flat the halftime, and Stiletto Blue Chip is leading, but that lead is shrinking a bit. She's Magic is second. Diamonds are twined is on the outside third. Then it is back to War Diamond, and Mock Mine Blue is on the outside racing fifth. Then right about Laura. 3 wide comes Joyful Cape, and then it is back to Ask for Me and Outlaw Calamity Chain. It is Stiletto Blue Chip. 3 wide is Diamonds are twined. 4 wide Joyful Cape. Joyful Kate is coming 4 deep and is flying on the outside. 3/4, 126 and 3. And it is Joyful Kate who's now come on against Stiletto Blue Chip and has taken the lead. Then She's Magic and Diamonds are twined. And Outlaw Calamity Jane is in the hunt as well as the field turns for home. Joyful Kate as they come on down the stretch ride. Joyful Kate charging on the outside. Calamity Jane. Joyful Kate is going to win at 22-1. Outlaw Calamity Jane at 45-1. Then it's War Diamond at Mock Mine Blue, and Diamonds are twined 158-4. It's going to be a bit of a sizable ticket, Rob.
Is it wrong that I was cheering for a carry over there for some big numbers, Gary?
No, I would never say that that's wrong.
Well, listen, I saw that I didn't have much of a chance because I could see that She's Magic and Diamonds weren't going to get there, and Joyful Kate came around them. Jacob Murray, earlier tonight we saw a win with Up the Credit with Art. That one produced a real nice effort, and we saw that one trending in the right direction for this barn, and now you've got Jacob Murray, third start with this one, and Joyful Kate circled them and won like a good thing tonight, that's for sure. Real nice effort there at a big price, and we get an even bigger number in the second spot. And, I think that this should give us a good chance at a carrier, but we've been fooled before.
If I was betting on it, I'd bet we have to have a carryover. But you never know. But listen, Brett McDonald, when he sent Joyful Kate 4 wide, because he had the option of being 3 wide, but he must have known, boy, I got a lot of horse here. To heck with this following 3 wide. Let's get out there and let's roll.
Yeah, let's just roll to the front and win by a sizable margin. Yeah, it was an impressive steer and effort from Joyful Kate. 0 for 33 over the last 2 seasons, and a real nice performance tonight. And Stiletto Blue Chip, one that we didn't really talk about too much, and I thought that she could be good enough to get to the lead off the gate. The problem is we've seen her have trouble finishing her miles here at Grand River, and the same thing happened again tonight.
But she is the one that set up this, well, long shot parade, because that changed the race dramatically and everybody kind of got scattered in pursuit. Back in front of us is number 6, Joyful Kate, at 22-1. Joyful Kate is a 6-year-old vintage Master Bay mare owned by Jim Wilson, trained by Jacob Murray. Brett McDonald's the winning driver. It is the 5th win for Joyful Kate, first in 2 seasons. Joyful Kate, 158-4. The 6th race payout, 6 Joyful Kate, 46.40. 17.10 and 11.20. 8 Outlaw Calamity Chain, 29.70 and 8.50. And 2 more Diamond, 5.30. High 5 Carryover, 3,731.45. $2 Exactor, 6 all, 87.70. Dollar Try, $2,500.20. And a 20-cent win for 1,432.90. Ka-ching. The sixth race, or her finish from the top, is 635-781-924. That's 635-781-924.
Joyful Kate lighting up the board in race 6. Second win on the card for trainer Jacob Murray. And not only did she light up the board in the race, also causes a carryover in her high five. So in the last race this evening, $3,731.45 of dead money will get added to the pool in that one. So that's going to be a can't miss wager tonight, folks. Start mapping out your tickets for that one. And also map out your winning tickets for the late pick 4, which starts right here in race number 7. And I went all the way to the outside of the gate. I don't usually do that. But I went to number 7, Party in the Shadows. Last time had this post in this race, got away 7th off the gate. Not this horse's MO, ended up finishing 6th. And I just think that, getting that post again this time, maybe we're going to see him handled more aggressively off the gate. This is a Kyle Boston's horse driven by Colin Kelly. I think they could have a pretty big late pick 4 here, because I think in the 8th race, Acrobat Hanover's got a big chance, probably the likely favorite and winner in there. And then the last race this evening, If You Knew Susie. So they could really have a big part of this late pick 4 wager. And I just think that, Party in the Shadows is one that, again, I hate post 7, but I like the horse a lot. 9-2 in the board's about the right price. I'm hoping that somehow they can find their way to the lead, or at least somewhere forwardly placed. For second, I went to number 5, Slate. This one's been racing pretty well lately at this level. Finished 3rd in each of his last 2. Was 2nd before that. Look at the horse he's been racing against. First Glance, Southwind Sandor, First Glance, Harper's Hat-Trick. All horses that I'd say, if they were in here tonight, you'd be more than happy to put a win ticket in on them. So Slate, I think, is one you have to consider in here. And he's shown speed from post worse than post 5. So I think he will be forwardly placed again tonight. Right now, 7-1. That's a good number on Slate. Number 6, Gambling Addiction, has been racing at Flambeau Downs in his last 2. Was a winner there 2 back. Impressive winner by nearly 3 lengths, and was racing really well here at Grand River. Had back-to-back wins in August, and now comes back to this surface. Does face tougher numbers with 30,000 life, but I think he's up to the challenge tonight from post 6. I think he's got a big chance in here. 5-2 on the board. Would be looking for a bigger price on that one, though, if I was going to bet a win ticket on him. And number 2, Winsong Quincy. One that, second starts, now for Ron McDonald, and decent efforts, further down the page. But last time, when you look at it, post 7, Flambeau Downs, non-winners of 3, got away 9th off the gate, made up a lot of ground and came home in 57 seconds flat. So I think you have to, give this one consideration tonight from post two. My issue is I thought he might get over bet. That's happening right now at 2-1. But for me, I do think this is a contentious race. And in my pick four, I'd probably be going 3 or 4 deep in here. And actually, we'll say 4 deep because I wouldn't leave Winsong Quincy off my ticket. That's for sure. But I'm going to give number 7, Party in the Shadows, a whirl. Getting bet now down to 3-1. Rock solid connections, Kyle Boston to Colin Kelly, and has shown the ability to win in this class before. So I'm just going to take a shot from post 7. Start of the pick 4, race 7. We'll come back, talk about more with Gary Guy after the post parade.
Field for the 7th on parade. One last mock, Aaron Byron for Mark Winnicott and John Nicholson. Number 2 is Winsong Quincy, Brent McDonald for Ron McDonald and Rebecca Hamilton. And number 3 is GA Speed Joey, Travis Henry for Gerard Demers and Alain Carrier. And number 4 is Dance Machine. It's Austin Sorey for Courtney Robson and Julie Sagan. And 5 is Slade, Robert Shepard for Amadas Yellow and Empty Stables. Number 6, Gambling Addiction, Scott Culliver, Jeffrey Williamson and Rebecca Williamson. And number 7, Party in the Shadows, Colin Kelly for Kyle Bossens and Brad Gray. Let's get a look at this field, and we'll start with Rob's top one. 9-2 on the board, Party in the Shadows. Well, definitely one that knows how to win. In fact, had a nice stretch here. 4 consecutive wins here. Party in the Shadows, strong connections, 5-1. Tough post, though, Rob.
Yeah, I hate the post, love the horse, love the connections. The thing was, last time had the same post. I thought raced reasonably well given the circumstances in a race that was won by Harper's hat trick. And, went to the back of the bus, and really that's what you have to do here at the river from these kind of post positions. But now getting it for a consecutive start, I think maybe the tactics might change tonight. Bouncing around in the odds was just up to 7-1, back down to 3-1. This horse was bet down to 70 cents to the dollar against First Glance and Slate and others 3 starts ago, and that was from post 4. But I do think that you've got to give this one, respect in here, especially for the connections. And I know I don't like betting horses from the outermost post in a contest, especially when it's post 7. But I think, you look at this field top to bottom, he really should be competitive with this group.
Number 5, Slate, is one that, was third to Harper's hat trick. That's been one of my favorite horses. And Slate shows some pretty consistently good form. You go back, you're looking now at the last 7 races, 6 top 3s during that span.
Yeah, Slate's been one that's been in top form as of late. Hasn't, broke through with a victory in some time. Only has 1 on the season, 1 for 14. But I thought each of those efforts have been pretty good, and he's one that has a lot of gate speed. So when he utilizes it, he gets away well and can sit a trip. And I looked at this race and said, well, a lot of the horses he's been racing against that he's been finishing second and third to, they're not in here tonight. So maybe this is the night that he breaks through with a victory. And 7-1 on the board is a pretty big price on a horse that I think deserves more respect than that.
And number 6, Gambling Addiction, did have a 3-race win streak here back in August, late July. And look at the one that jumps out the best, if you're looking at this one, for post position 6. August 13th here, post 6, won by 2 lengths. Did it from off the pace and circled up 3 wide.
And did so pretty easy, too. Remember, Anthony Hahn on that occasion had a pretty firm grip of this one in the stretch, and he kind of just pointed him to daylight, and he did it all on his own. And Gambling Addiction's one that he's won 4 of his last 6, and he should be confident coming into this. Gets back to an oval that he's proven that he does like. 3-1 on the board. I think that, if I was playing a late pick 4 ticket, he'd be on there as one that can definitely get the job done.
And we got to go down to number 2, Winsong Quincy, my top pick, and look at I was helped by the fact that the other three have drawn outside. Winsong Quincy gets the better post. You mentioned second start for Ron McDonald, but also had been off since the 1st of August till September 21st. Pretty long layoff in between, and yet finished the ball sharply. Had a really good middle half as well.
Yeah, back in a regular rotation is something that we've seen win so often here at Grand River. And you look at that last race, yeah, you can just say, you know what, post 7 and got away ninth and was a long way out of it, finished the mile very well, and is not one that has to race from out the pace. Is showing speed before, and I think the game plan will probably be to try to get to the front this evening. And 6-5, though, you know, for my liking, is a little bit too short, but I certainly see why you'd like him.
Well, and you know the horse we should probably talk about, number one, Last Mock, because every once in a while Last Mock steps up and just bites everybody, and you do see this one with 4 wins in 13 starts this year, and you get 23-1. Maybe this is the spot because Last Mock has had lots of tough post positions, has made breaks early. Maybe on the inside, if Aaron can get this one off the gate just smoothly, maybe Last Mock at 22-1 could be the sleeper play.
It's a big price on a horse that's, you know, been a winner in this class in the not so distant past. Really, it's only 5 starts down the page. I don't mind it when a horse has missed a bit of time when they were scratched due to sickness, because if they're over it now, they're probably going to race better. And oddly enough, Gary, the only horse not paying in the pick 3, you don't see it very often here at Grand River. We got one paying out 2 out of 3 in that pick 3 wager.
And you know the race that I liked the most about Last Mock was actually a race that he didn't win, but he finished second as St. Lad's beat it by a length and a quarter. Came first up, circled 3 wide. That was a huge effort.
Yeah, it really was on that occasion. And, you know, 24-1 is a pretty big overlay on this Mark Winnicott horse. And if Aaron Byron can keep this one on his manners tonight, maybe we'll see him in the finish.
It's an interesting dash, this 7th race. You've gone on the outside, Party in the Shadows. The price is fair, 9-2. I got the favorite. I don't like the even money, but I didn't know he was the favorite when I picked him. It's a field of 7. Last Mock, Winsong Quincy on the inside. GA Joey, Dance Machine, and Slate to the outside. Gambling Addiction, Party in the Shadows. Field of 7, race number 7. It's a field of 7 for the 7th race. There, into the stretch drive, nearing the start. And they're off. Slate and Gambling Addiction, Winsong Quincy, Last Mock on the inside, the GSP Joey, Dance Machine, and Party in the Shadows relaxed away trailing. Into the backstretch they go, and Slate has the lead. Gambling Addiction second, Winsong Quincy third. Last Mock is in mid-pack racing fourth. Then GSP Joey and Dance Machine and Party in the Shadows, and they race on to the opening quarter. And it is Slate who's got the front. It is Slate, Gambling Addiction, and racing third, Winsong Quincy. Last Mock is racing fourth, and GA Speed Joey. Then Dance Machine and Party in the Shadows. They raced their way past the opening quarter in 28-2. And it is Slate and Robert Shepard at 4-1 who's got the lead. Gambling Addiction also at 4-1 is racing second on the inside as they race off the turn. And Winsong Quincy angles to the outside to come first over. Last Mock is getting the cover of Winsong Quincy. And Party in the Shadows riding up on the outside and looking alive on the back of Last Mock on the inside. GA Speed Joey. And then it is back to Dance Machine. On past the half, they go in 58-2. 30-second second panel breather. And it is Slate and Robert Shepard. Gambling Addiction on the inside. Winsong Quincy to the outside now is moving up. Winsong Quincy has come on to take over second. Needs to call her Slate, though. Still leads it by a length and a quarter. Gambling Addiction is third, then a gap of a couple. GHB Joey on the inside. Last Mock, then Party in the Shadows and Dance Machine. But it is still Slate who's got the front. Slate, Winsong Quincy getting a little closer, and then Gambling Addiction on the inside third. Last Mock is within striking distance, and Party of the Shadows has sent out 3 wide. And then notice GSB Joey and Dance Machine. Things are unsettled still as they turn from 3/4, 126-1. Hamden is Slate up the inside. Gambling Addiction. Gambling Addiction's got a win. Last Mock was second, then third was Slate, and it's close for fourth. 156 flat. Gambling Addiction in an interesting dash and an interesting stretch drive.
Definitely was. Nice trip worked out by Scott Coulter, right? It really, you look at this race and you'd say you'd love to have the money on the horse that's going to get the good trip, and he sat the two hole and strongly came with the passing lane to win. And Gary, the last horse you talked about, we've seen them win often this year. Sometimes produce a big price. Last mock, I thought he might get there on the last turn there. Aaron had him, really pacing well in the stretch, and I liked how he actually kind of just gapped off a little bit down the backside there to get this one into top gear on the final turn. But last mock had to settle for second at 15-1. But Gambling Addiction, one that we saw really in top form here, and has won 4 of his last 6. I mean, he's been kind of the now horse in this bunch, and he goes off at 4-1. I did not like Winsong Quincy's price at 4-5. I thought that he had a chance in here, but I really couldn't get too excited about that number.
Yeah, and he also had to do a lot of work coming first up. I was thinking when they went to the quarter, I wonder who Rob would take now if you could freeze frame, take a look at the quarter, and then bet. And I was thinking at that point, I would have taken Gambling Addiction second, sitting behind Slate, and that's the way it turned out.
Oh, for sure, because Slate's one that doesn't really win. He's a bit camera shy. He gets pieces of it, and I thought that he would definitely hit the board or make a good account of himself on the front end. But you're right. You could put back Gambling Addiction at that point, sitting that 2-hole trip. I think you could have really went to the windows, and it was a nice effort to get up the inside 4-1 on the board. I think an overlay, and you get last mock splitting these ones in the trifecta at 15-1, and Winston Quincy ends up finishing fourth, but the exotics should all pay well here.
And Party in the Shadows didn't leave again, but actually did race reasonably well, but didn't leave.
Yeah, I'll keep my eye on him for next time. I think he just needs an inside post. I was hoping he'd go forward tonight, but maybe next time.
Back in front of us, number 6, Gambling Addiction, 4-year-old classic card, Shark Bay Gelding, owned by Rebecca Williamson. Jeffrey Williamson's the trainer. Scotty Coulter, the Tan Tornado, victorious with Gambling Addiction in 156 flats. The 7th race payout, 6, Gambling Addiction, 1030, 660, 390. 1 last mock, 1140, 430, 5 Slate, 280. $2 exactor, 164.20. Dollar try, 188.85. Dollar super, 450.75. And note the pick 3 pays a 20-cent pick 3. 3 of 3, 421.32. Seventh race over finish from the tops at 247-6315. That's 247-6315.
Gambling addiction getting the job done in race number 7, the opening leg of that late pick 4 wager. Good luck if you're still alive. We're on to race number 8 now. We're on the pace, horse and geldings, and it's a condition claiming event. The price tag's $15,000. The condition is known as a $20,000 life. I love a horse in here for the rock solid connections of Kyle Bossens and Colin Kelly. Number 3, Acrobat Hanover. The problem is the price of 1 to 2 right now. Doesn't surprise me though, because you look at this horse and what he's been racing, and now there's a 15,000 life in each of his last 3, has finished 3rd in all of those outings, in against Holly's Treasure, Better Half, YS Delight, and now moving over to the condition claiming ranks where the actual restriction for this race is now is a 20,000 lifetime. So now he's tagged for 15,000. It's a similar lifetime condition to what he's been racing in, and he gets a nice post to work from. I think he's going to be very difficult to beat in here. It's a monumental drop in class, and we know about those rock solid connections. So 3 to 5 on the board. I'd be surprised if this horse goes off at higher than 6 to 5. Might even stay at a lower price that he's at right now at 3 to 5, somewhere below even money. But Acrobat Hanover is my top selection with a bullet here in race number 8. Number 1, Blue Monk has been racing well in the class. Last 3 efforts here at Grand River, no worse than 3rd. Got beat a nose, 3 starts back, kind of raced a lot better than the line shows, that's for sure. On that occasion, then was a winner by 3/4 of the length. 2 starts back, finished 3rd last time, and I thought that got a little bit tired late in the mile in his latest. So for me, I looked at the race and said, well, Blue Monk is going to be tough as well, but Acrobat Hanover probably has a pretty significant edge over that one, especially classification-wise, coming into tonight's contest. And number 9, Little Red Sports Star. Big price on this one right now, 22 to 1. I've been racing at Mohawk Park and the condition claimer there, and picked up a few shares, finished 2nd back on August the 12th. Still winless in 12 this year, hit the board twice, but I think this is probably the easiest he's faced in some time anyways. 2 back, probably something similar at Kawartha, got to the lead, ended up fading to 4th, but it took support in that effort. I think Little Red Sports Star is one that can get a piece in here, and 16 to 1 is a pretty big price. Considering he's going to follow out Blue Monk, should get away well behind that one. Maybe can make some noise late in the mile, finish 3rd or 4th and get a piece of it. Number 5, Living on a Dream, one that I think has been improving as of late, and was off some time prior to that, racing in non-winners of racing in this class here, this condition claimer class, and finished 2nd last time, and kind of with each effort, it's been racing better. So 4 to 1 on the board right now, a little bit short than what I'd be willing to accept of that one on a win ticket, but I think when you have to respect, especially in the exotics, number 5, Living on a Dream. But of course, we're moving out onto the track for race number 8. I'm sticking with number 3, Acrobat Hanover. The price is more attractive now at 8 to 5, but we'll come back and see what Gary thinks after the post break.
Field for the 8th race on Parade 1. Blue Monk, Brett McDonough, Richard Moreau, and Claude Gerard and Gabriel Moreau. Number 2 is Tradition, Travis Henry for Nicky Comegna and Bruno Comegna. Number 3 is Acrobat Hanover, Colin Kelly for Kyle Bossens and Brad Gray. And number 4, Smooth, is Cheddar Anthony Hunt for Jeffrey Williamson. Number 5, Living on a Dream, Austin Sorry for Katie Jean Miller and Travis Forbes. Number 6, High Flying Jamie Drew Neal for Gary Anderson. Number 7, Sports Zipper, Natasha Day for Brett Lester and Michelle Letard and Jean Allaire. 8 is AJ Knight, Robert Shepard for Greg Campbell and Angelo DeLellis. And 9 is Low Red Sports Star, Paul McKenzie for Blake McIntosh and Dan and Kim Sargent. Field of 9, race number 8. Let's get a look at this field. We're going to start with Rob's top one. Number 3, Acrobat Hanover, Colin Kelly, Kyle Bossens. You know, one thing, Rob, I kind of faulted Acrobat Hanover for a little bit, and I see all your points to the positive. Only one win on the year, and the one win came against foes that I think Blue Monk could beat, and that was at Hanover. But Acrobat Hanover, I figured, would take all the money, and is doing so. 7-5 on the board. Should be tough, though.
Yeah, I think so. 7-5 on the board, and I think that's a decent enough number on this one right now. That's a big drop in class. Non-winners of 15,000 life down to a condition claimer where the lifetime earnings restriction is 20,000, and I think I'd bet anything on YS to light in here against this group. And that victory at Hanover, it was against, you'd probably say it's softer, but granted, Just Daisy is a filly, but raced well against beat Just Daisy, who's actually now gone to Mohawk Park and been racing pretty decently there. So I think Acrobat Hanover is one that we'll see get away well off the gate, and with these connections, I think it'll be tough to beat. And 7-5 is probably about the right price. I thought 6-5 would probably be the closing odds.
The one that you went to second is the one I went to on top, and it's not because I think Blue Monk is better that I went on top. I just didn't want the price. And I thought, well, if you get Brett McDonald, Richard Moreau on the inside with one that's got gate speed, maybe you could take a flyer. And look, this one has put up some pretty decent miles. Blue Monk, 7-2.
Yeah, you can't really fault Blue Monk at all. It's been some nice performances here since moving over to Grand River, and the efforts at Georgian Downs weren't that bad either off the claim for Richard Moreau, and has hit the board in 10 of 16 so far this season, won 4 of those races, and it's really one of those situations where if all things were equal and Acrobat Hanover is not in this race, I would have put this one on top. There's no question about that, but when Acrobat Hanover drops in, I've got to say, okay, you know what, this was got a significant class edge and really should be able to get the better of this group. But Blue Monk, if someone's going to, get the victory over that one, I think it will be him.
And there's the red colors of Paul McKenzie with Little Red Sports Star, and one that does show gate speed 2 and 3 back. Probably could be up close to Blue Monk from the trailer post and be effective.
I think so too, and I'm surprised the price is holding. I thought it'd be one of those cases where we see a big number on this horse, and then he gets bet down to 5 or 6 to 1 come post time. It's one of those ones where he's got a favorable spot. He gets to start behind Blue Monk, and really he hasn't raced against the horses this season. You can make an argument 2 back. He was facing pretty soft competition at Kawartha Downs, but he still finished 4th in that effort after being used hard to the quarter pole. So I think that Little Red Sports Star right now is serious value. Not sure if I would necessarily be in a rush to bet him to win, but I think he can hit the ticket on here.
And number 5, Living on a Dream, did finish in front of Blue Monk last time. Finished second. Blue Monk was third. Living on a Dream shows improving form.
Yeah, an improving type for Katie Jean Miller, and I just like the progression from this one. We had a horse that kind of missed a bit of time, and then ended up, racing reasonably well here on September the 13th to finish 4th, and then last time came up with a much better effort to finish second, and he gets to start from post 5, which isn't ideal after starting from the rail in post 3, but I think he can get a piece of it, and he's taken moderate support at 8-1.
Number 2, Tradition, is 4-1 on the board. I don't like the price. I thought I'd get a little bit more. Tradition only one win in 20 starts, but did have a really good back half last time out. And 56 and 3 back half. Good overall speed on the mile. Tradition, though, 7-2 now.
Yeah, Tradition's interesting because I think he's a horse that races really well when he gets a favorable trip, and that might happen tonight from post 2. And really, the way this race might shape up, he could be one that's sitting in a striking spot. So 4-1, I'll agree with you. A bit of an underlay from what he should be, but definitely has a chance.
Well, Rob, you don't get any value, but you got probably the one to beat at even money. Acrobat Hanover went to the price on the inside. Blue Monk at 7-2. Taking up their positions, Blue Monk, Tradition, Acrobat Hanover in the center, Smooth as Cheddar and Living on a Dream. On the outside, High Flying Jamie, Sports Zipper, and AJ Knight. And the second tier, Low Red Sports Star. It's a field of 9 for the 8th race, and the field is into the stretch drive, gathering speed, approaching the start. And the field for the 8th race. At the start of the rough, Acrobat Hanover. On the inside, Blue Monk as they stride into the turn. Living on a Dream. High Flying Jamie, Low Red Sports Star, does well from the trailer post to get out into the front 4. But right now it is Blue Monk who's got the lead. Acrobat Hanover filling the pocket. Living on a Dream is still living on the outside. Low Red Sports Star is racing 4th. And High Flying Jamie is 5th and is looking to squeeze over to the pylons. It is able to do so in front of Tradition. Then Smooth as Cheddar, Sports Zipper, and AJ Knight. It is Blue Monk and Brett McDonald who's got the lead as they race to the opening quarter in 27-3. Acrobat Hanover is racing 2nd. Living on a Dream, Low Red Sports Star, High Flying Jamie, and Tradition is racing 6th. Gets a little closer, then a gap of 4 or 5. Smooth as Cheddar as the field comes off the turn, and then it is back to Sports Zipper and AJ Knight. But it's Blue Monk as they race up to the half, but has Acrobat Hanover right there in tow in the pocket. Low Red Sports Stars challenging first over, a length and 3/4 from the front. High Flying Jamie is spotted second over, 57-4 the halftime, a 30-1 second panel breather for Blue Monk. It is Blue Monk who's leading still. Acrobat Hanover, who's patiently being driven in the pocket by Colin Kelly. A length and 3/4 back. Low Red Sports Star to the outside 3rd. And then racing 4th is Living on a Dream. And then 3 wide, High Flying Jamie. They race on to 3/4. It's Blue Monk. Blue Monk and Acrobat Hanover. And then out wide comes High Flying Jamie. High Flying Jamie now has moved up. Backing away is Low Red Sports Star. And Living on a Dream. But popping into the pocket right now, Acrobat Hanover. Acrobat Hanover, Blue Monk as the field turns for home. 3/4 in 1:27. Acrobat Hanover. Blue Monk on the inside as they come on down the stretch drive. High Flying Jamie as they come on to the finish. Acrobat Hanover has got this one sewn up. Acrobat Hanover, Blue Monk was second best, and then it was Tradition and Living on a Dream, 156-1. Acrobat Hanover. Colin Kelly was patient and knew when he wanted to pull, and it was also available to pull at the right time. Got the job done, Rob.
Yeah, nice job by Colin Kelly. And I was right in the first turn there. I said, well, this was kind of perfect for him. Blue Monk left hard enough that he was able to just slide in to that 2-hole trip. And he knows that Blue Monk's going to carry him a long way in there. I think there was no question about that because he's been racing so well at this level, and he gets to start from the pole position tonight. And just a perfect steer and a horse that really should have been the best in here and ended up proving it on the racetrack for Kyle Boston and Colin Kelly. And we've said those two names together so many times this season, Gary.
I was kind of wondering if maybe Brett would try to back into Colin Kelly and keep horses on the outside, but maybe when you know that the one in your pocket's probably better than you and maybe could beat you up the passing lane, what you want to do is make sure that you finish at least in the top 2, and by continuing on, then the others are a little further back.
Yeah, I think so too. And I don't know. I think even if he does, try to back into him there, that one's still going to get the better one with the passing lane. So I think you're right. I think that the move there was to just try to get daylight on the rest of the field to ensure, finishing second, and that's what he did. And Blue Monk's been racing well in this class since moving over to Grand River. He's now been in the top 3 for 4 consecutive starts, and just ran into one today that was dropping down from much tougher and was going to be difficult to beat.
And Tradition managed to get onto the ticket, so was able to use an inside post, although didn't leave as well as I might have thought, but he still got on the ticket.
Yeah, he ended up closing well to finish fourth on the end of it. Living on a dream, one that we were talking about as an improving type. Another solid effort from that one to finish third, and I think one that just kind of keeps getting better with each start, and we'll probably see more from him, in the future.
Back in front of us is number 3, Acrobat Hanover, a 4-year-old sports rider, Bay Gelding. Owned by Brad Gray, trained by Kyle Boston's Colin Kelly, is the winning driver. It's the second win this year, fourth lifetime. Acrobat Hanover, 156-1. The eighth race payouts: 3 Acrobat Hanover, 340, 260, 210. 1 Blue Monk, 360 and 295. Living on a Dream, 320. $2 exactor, $7 dollar try, 22.75. The dollar super, 44.60. Eighth race order finish from the top is 241 935 678. That's 241 935 678.
All right, folks. Well, time flies when you're having fun. It's already race 9, which means your last chance to play a multi-leg wager and just one race away for that big high five carryover and our finale. But first, race 9, we're on the trot. It's for non-winners of 3,600, last 3. And there is a big favorite on the board right now, and that's where I went on top. Hate to keep landing on the favorites, but we're going to do that again. And here it looks like 1-9, though. Wow, 1-9. Number 2, Wish You'd Tell Me. And look, I get the support, and why I went to this one is simple. Last time, post 8, got away 6, went a big journey. Ended up finishing second, beating 4 lengths of Serenity Cruise, and there's no one like that in here tonight, I don't think. And Wish You Tell Me now gets post 2 to work from. Look at those last 3 posts. Post 8 here, post 7 at Flamborough, post 6 at back here at Grand River, and now a nice draw to work from tonight. I see all the cappers are in agreement, putting this one on top, but 1-9, that's a tough pill to swallow, as always. Number 4, Heineken Sealster, is my second choice in the race. I see Gary and Ken go to that one in the fourth choice. 50-1 on the board in a 7-horse field. That price can't hold up on Heineken Sealster, can it? No way. I think he should be more like 6 or 7-1 in here. If I got double digits, I'd be a little bit excited. Maybe even bet this one to win. I love the shoe change. Flip-flops to steel up front. Always love it when a horse takes off the flip-flops and puts on some steel shoes or aluminum shoes, and that's what Heineken Sealster is doing tonight. Last time made a break in stride. Was never in it. But before that, pretty formful, finishing 4th, 3rd, some more 4th place finishes in the class, and just one that I think, should be able to work his way into the race. Now down to 10-1, that's more like it. Number 4, Heineken Sealster. Like I said, I love the shoe change when it hits the board. 6 out of 19 this season. Really is in a race that he should be able to perform well in tonight. So I do like him for the second spot. Number 3, Missy's Magic Man. Got back in the winner's circle, 2 starts back after not having the same season that he had last year, winning 12 of 20. He's 2 for 15 this time around, and got bet down to just a shade below 6-1 last time from the rail. Made a break in stride and never had a chance throughout. Maybe can turn it around tonight with a flat line and decent post to work from. Post 3, 11-1 right now. Number 3, Missy's Magic Man. Number 6, Polar Hall, 16-1. We've seen this Son of Amigo Hall come up big in these spots, this class even in the past here at Grand River, and hasn't had, the worst season. 2 wins at 18, and 8 of those efforts, 8 efforts landed in the money. So Polar Hall, I think, is one that you've got to give some respect to in here, and 17-1 on the board. That's a giant price on this one. So interesting contest, 7 horses, and Wish You Tell Me, I think, is the one to beat off his latest effort, but I don't know if he's immortal in here, and 1-2 on the board to me is too short of a price. Hopefully it floats up come post time. He's still my top pick, but Heineken Sealster one to consider. Now down to 6-1 on that one, so others are going in that direction as well. Love the shoe change, flip flops to steel up front. But we'll come back and talk about this race now with Gary Guy a little further after the post break.
Field for race number 9 on parade 1, Red Hot Torch, Jason Ryan for a numbered company. Number 2 is Wish You'd Tell Me, Austin Sorry for Mitchell Tierney and Triple S Equine. Number 3 is Missy's Magic Man, Ryan Holiday for Dave Holiday and Ron Corbett. And for Heineken Sealster, Travis Henry for Don Lindsay and Glenn Lindsay. And number 5, I Am What I Am, Jay Harris for Joe Shaw and Patricia Gibb. Number 6, Polar Hall, Bruce Richardson for Kevin Davidson. And number 7 is You Can't Have It, Colin Keller for Ron Waples Jr. and Dr. Sheila Atmore. It's a field of 7 for race number 9. We'll get a look at this field, and well, the odds have adjusted now, Rob, and 2-1 on Wish You'd Tell Me. My top pick, your top one. Look at the post position improvement, and that was a good race last time out.
Yeah, now we're talking. 2-1, I can get excited about Wish You Tell Me. I was kind of thinking I might have to go off this one. Looks good on the track right now, too. I like the way he looks on the track right now for Austin Sorey, and big effort last time. And, you know, that's why I went to this one on top, and we probably all saw the same thing. Ended up, you know, coming, you know, an overland journey, then rolling 3 wide and finished second to Serenity Cruise. And that was from post 8, and now you get a much better post position to work from tonight. And I don't think the depth of the field is anywhere near what it was last time. So I like Wish You Tell Me on top. I hated the price earlier. Now it's dipped down to 8-5 again. Let's hope it stays here, though, Gary.
Now, the thing with 3, Missy's Magic Man, who's getting the most love next to Wish You'd Tell Me, is if Missy's Magic Man was racing the way it was last year, well, then he'd be 1-9 in here. But Missy's Magic Man showed up 2 races ago, raced really well, then made an early break last time out.
Yeah, it was a huge season last year for Missy's Magic Man, and we saw a glimpse of that 2 back, and we were both kind of happy to see this one, you know, take a step in the right direction, because the talent's definitely there for this Son of Cadabra. We just hasn't put it together this season, and breaking stride last time, you know, obviously from the pole position. So it was a tough spot for trotters to start. Now gets post 3 to work from. The support on the board, to me, is a little bit surprising. I thought Missy's Magic Man would maybe be closer to, you know, 3 or 4-1 in here. 9-5 is an underlay for me, but I do think he's got a chance.
Number 4, Heineken Sealster has come down a little bit. The shoe change is important. Made a break last time out, but Don Lindsay with the shoe change on this one. And Heineken Sealster had plenty of good form before that last race.
Yeah, the shoe change would, you know, maybe indicate to me anyways that his feet are feeling pretty good right now. So they put on shoes that are much more conducive to, you know, racing faster and producing a bigger effort. So I think Heineken Sealster is one that you can't sleep on in here. He's been kind of in the mix at this level and even above this level for many starts in a row. And you go further down and see that devastating win at Hanover. I was there on that occasion, and it was as easy as could be. And I just look at this one's form and think that, you know, he kind of figures in here. And I wouldn't be surprised if maybe he could cause the upset. Earlier, he was a massive price. Now he's down to 9-2. I think that's where he should be, because I don't think he's without a chance.
Now, if we could get the horse Polar Hall that raced here back in about the middle of July, we'd be all over Polar Hall in here. 18-1 right now.
Yeah, 18-1 is a little bit wild on Polar Hall, really, because you look down and you see racing in the preferred, and not like he was racing, you know, uncompetitive at that level back earlier in the summer, and he was victorious and against Tougher, I'd even say, on June the 30th. So you look at this one's form and you might say, well, lately he hasn't really been producing his best, but even that second place finish to Catch Can, a 3-back, might be good enough to get a piece of it in here. He should not be the longest shot on the board, in my opinion, but, you know, I guess right now there's so many options in here, he's just been overlooked.
And you know, one that we didn't talk about at all is one Red Hot Torch. But 3 races ago, Red Hot Torch stepped up and raced a really big mile and wasn't bad last time out. Wish You'd Tell Me was second. Red Hot Torch was fourth in that one, albeit a little further back. But inside post position, Jason Ryan, you get 15-1.
I could see him rebounding with a better effort in here, and really he's been kind of a all or nothing type as it relates to hitting the board. He's got 5 wins in the season at a 17 starts, but no seconds or thirds. But with the pole position tonight, maybe he gets away because it's a favorable trip. 15-1 right now is a pretty decent price on Red Hot Torch.
Well, it is a field of 7 for race number 9, and they're taking up their positions. Red Hot Torch, Wish You'd Tell Me. On the inside of the center, Missy's Magic Man, Heineken Sister, I Am What I Am. On the outside, Polar Hall, You Can't Have It. It's a field of 7. It's race number 9, and here they come. Field for the 9th race is at the start, and Red Hot Torch went off stride. Heineken Sister broke stride as well. Wish You'd Tell Me is going to grab the early lead. Missy's Magic Man is racing position second. I Am What I Am right now am third. Then Polar Hall is racing fourth, and then it is You Can't Have It and Red Hot Torch. They race on down the backstretch. Wish You'd Tell Me 4 to 5 on the board. Missy's Magic Man is in tow in the pocket. I Am What I Am is racing third. Polar Hall fourth, then You Can't Have It and Red Hot Torch as they race their way on past the opening quarter. And way back, Heineken Sister is out of this one. 20 into the opening quarter, and they race the turn. It's Wish You'd Tell Me, and Austin Sorry enjoying the view on top. Missy's Magic Man and Happy Holiday is sitting right there in the pocket. Off the turn they come. I Am What I Am is on the inside, racing third, and is currently positioned about 4 lengths off the lead. Then it is Polar Hall to the inside. Here comes You Can't Have It to the outside, and then Red Hot Torch is trying to make a recovery. And the half was 59-1, and they worked their way on into the backstretch, and it is still Wish You'd Tell Me, but Missy's Magic Man is close on the back of Wish You'd Tell Me into the backstretch. I Am What I Am is racing third, and then on the outside, You Can't Have It to the inside is Polar Hall, and then Red Hot Torch. It is still Wish You'd Tell Me doing all the work on the lead, but Missy's Magic Man looks in 10th there in the pocket, and racing third is I Am What I Am. Then Red Hot Torch has recovered up to 4th, and then You Can't Have It backs away, and Polar Hall's on the inside of Pupico from 3rd. I Am What I Am is looking to score an upset as the field turns for home. I Am What I Am at 23-1 is moving up and is taking over 2nd. It is challenging Wish You'd Tell Me. Wish You'd Tell Me as they come on down the stretch rhyme, and up the inside, Missy's Magic Man. Missy's Magic Man is getting closer. Missy's Magic Man had the magic up the inside. Wish You'd Tell Me that I Am What I Am, and Polar Hall 158-2. Race number 9. Missy's Magic Man. Ryan Holiday's going to be happy now.
And Missy's Magic Man really worked out a perfect trip. Ryan Holiday worked out a great trip for this one in the 2-hole behind Wish You'd Tell Me. And Austin Sorry was, I thought, trying to back it down as much as he could on the front end with this one, and I thought he might be able to close it out, but looks like Missy's Magic Man gets the job done up the inside.
Well, I thought he was. On that replay, it looked like maybe not, but no, come on. Up the inside, it was Missy's Magic Man, I believe. Austin Sorry, Wish You'd Tell Me, went a long, long way, though, but did all the work for Missy's Magic Man.
Yeah, definitely, one that... cut the mile out, did most of the heavy lifting, and it's close on the wire, but looks like Missy's Magic Man does prevail by a nostril.
The other day I learned to say too close to call, but you see, when I learn something, it doesn't stick for very long.
Well, you got that one right, it looks like, right?
I got away with it. Missy's Magic Man. Christine hasn't chimed in because she's like, of course it's Missy's Magic Man. That's why I put him on the screen, you doughhead. Duh. Missy's Magic Man. That was a fine effort. And look, the key was staying flat. Made a break last time out.
Yeah, and really, we even said that he looked like he was maybe getting back to his old ways, right, with that victory 2 starts back. And I remember I liked him last time for a big piece of it, and made that break in stride. Comes right back now with a solid effort, and maybe the Son of Cadaver's turned the corner now and might start to enjoy the success he had last season.
Coming back in front of us is the winner of race number 9. It's number 3, Missy's Magic Man, a 5-year-old Cadabra Bay gelding, owned by Ron Corbett, trained by Dave Holliday. Ryan Holiday, Happy Holiday, the winning driver, third win this year, 15th lifetime. Missy's Magic Man, 158 and 2. Ninth race payouts, 3, Missy's Magic Man, $780, $323. 2, Wish You'd Tell Me, $290, $250. 5, I Am What I Am, $680. $2 Exactor, $1540. Tribe, $92.10. Superfective, $535, $65. Ninth race order finish from the top. 5217346. That's 5217346.
Time for the finale and our big carryover in the high five. But first, shout out to those mixing it up with us on Twitter tonight. We've got Big A 879 college hoops for you. Brad A, as always, he's excited about Wednesday night too. And we even got a retweet from Ryan Willis, which has not happened too often. So thanks, guys, for interacting with us on Twitter tonight. At Grand RR is the track handle. And mine is at Robert Reed Jr., just my name. Very easy to remember. Always happy to mix it up about our product here and harness racing as a whole. Well, here we go. Super high five time. The carryover is $3,731.45. This pool is going to be a big one, folks, and a great way to leave a big winner here tonight at Grand River Raceway. We're scratched down to a field of 8 now. Number 1, Ma Rebelle, I guess, has been scratched, so I'm going to have to adjust my picks just slightly. But number 2, If You Knew Susie, is my selection on top and now gets the pole position to work for. I'm going to even be tougher. And the hot connections of Kyle Boston's and Colin Kelly was a winner in here last time, wire to wire from post 3. Got to figure she's going to be tough to beat here tonight now, getting the rail to work from. I see every handicapper says If You Knew Susie's going to win this race. I couldn't go against her. I looked at this race up and down and said, is there anything that can beat her? And I just don't think so. She got back down to this level, won at 1-2 last time. She's probably going to go off at that price or something maybe slightly higher this time around, even money right now. I think she's going to be really, really difficult to beat in here. So she's on top for me. Number 4, As Brave as My Mama, finished second to If You Knew Susie last time, and now gets post 3 to work from, and really should get a trip that could be conducive to finishing in that same spot again. I thought the effort last time was a good one, first over, for quite a ways before settling for the place spot. I think maybe that one lands right there again tonight. Number 3, Edam's Princess, good post to work from. Working at Flamborough Downs in her last 3, has been no worse than fourth. Was a winner 2 starts back. Last time against Open Claiming Company, you only got beat 3/4 length of Black Creek Rosebud. So that's a good form reference there. I think Edam's Princess is one you have to use in your high five ticket right now. 9 to 1 on the board. Good price on Edam's Princess. Number 5, Rhythm Sealster, post 7 last time in this class. No chance from out there. Ended up finishing 6th. Was a winner from the 3-hole, 3 starts back. Didn't race too badly to finish 3rd, 2 back from the rail. Now you're going to say, well, post 5, actually post 4 now to work from for this one. I think Rhythm Sealster can hit the ticket. 16 to 1 on the board, not a bad price. And the one I threw in now was the 9, Get It Done Donna. And why? Well, now Get It Done Donna gets to follow out If You Knew Susie, and that one has gotten away decently enough off the gate in the past. Maybe if that one can get right in behind If You Knew Susie to sit a favorable trip, can get a piece of this high five right now at 20 to 1 on the board. But for me, it's all about If You Knew Susie in this carryover high five situation. I'm going to probably put that one on top. Well, definitely put that one on top, and then look to get some prices in behind to get a payout with that carryover. Though it should pay well regardless. So good luck mapping out your tickets. The horses are moving out on the track right now for this finale race of the evening. We'll come back and talk about it one more time with Gary Guy after the post break.
Field for the 10th on parade. 1 scratch 2. If You Knew Susie, Cullen Kelly for Kyle Bossons and Daryl Newbigging. Number 3, Edam's Princess, Jason Ryan for Scott Friend. And 4 is As Brave as My Mama, Drew Neal for Gary Anderson. 5 is Rhythm Sealster, Travis Henry for Graham Burgess. Number 6, Northern Prima, Tom Smith for Daryl Holmes and Gerald Holmes. And 7 Bye by Daddy J. Harris for Michael Carther and Kimberly Carther. And number 8 is Edam Zelli. It is Brett McDonald for Taylor Fritz. 9 is Get It Done Donna, Scott Kohler for Steve Colvin. There is the 8, Edam Zelli, Brett McDonald. Field of 8, race number 10, the final dash. We have that pent-affected carryover. So we have some pent-up enthusiasm for this final dash. And, we'll start with number 2, If You Knew Susie. Is anyone hotter right now than the tandem of Colin Kelly and Kyle Bossons? And they look for a third. That connection's just here this evening.
Yeah, they've been on fire as of late, and I thought this late pick 4 was one that they could get a big piece of. They already got one win, and now you're finishing off with the horse that's definitely going to be the favorite in this contest and difficult to beat. She now gets the pole position to work from. If You Knew Susie, was racing against tougher and needed to get down to this class last time, right back in now, and I don't know how they're going to beat her tonight. And Gary, already almost $7,000 of new money in that high five wager.
Well, they'd better study it up because, you can kind of find out who you like on top. But I think after that, it gets pretty wide open. Now, look, there is number 4, As Brave as My Mama, the one that you went to as your second choice. Was second, If You Knew Susie, last time out, and pretty solid effort coming first up and beaten a length and a half. So, As Brave as My Mama, your second one.
Yeah, I think this one you should be able to maybe propel herself to that position again tonight. It was a solid effort last time and dropped down after a couple of starts in open claimers and $8,500 at the $8,500 level at Flamborough, the 2 before that. So, and again, you look at it and say, well, maybe with a better trip, she can get the better of You Knew Susie. I still thought that that rival had more in the tank last time. So for me, that's the one I'll be focusing right underneath, and it's no surprise that she's taking support down to 7-2 in a second favoritism right now.
Number 3, Etam's Princess, now could be a trip horse with a scratch of 1, as long as Etam's Princess can outleave the trailer horse, Get It Done Donna, and I think that she can, but that'll be interesting. Could well be a trip horse, Etam's Princess.
And the price right now is 7-1. I think is attractive on this one, and you see some decent early foot off the gate in each of her last three, and now you get to start right beside If You Knew Susie, who should be blasting. So sometimes that hole opens up in a hurry, and if this one could ever drop in behind, then maybe this is the one that you want to have kind of everywhere on the ticket, because I like the last couple of efforts, and 10-1 on the board right now is attractive. Fourth choice on the board, and maybe if you get this one in the second spot and get some bombs in behind, it could pay handsomely.
Number 5, Rhythm Sealster. I was thinking about the fact that she's at post position 4 now. Last race, post 7, didn't go well, but the 2 previous ones were good. Now she gets a better post position. She could come right back to that form.
Yeah, the price is giant right now on Rhythm Sealster. I like the 2 efforts prior to her latest post 7, and now you're moving in 3 spots, and I think that's going to help this one get away better. And if she gets a favorable trip, I think she can get a piece at 40-1, and that price is obviously now a little bit inflated with If You Knew Susie dropping down to 1-9. But I still think if you get her up further up on the high 5 ticket, it's going to make it pay well.
And another price that is inflated, of course, with the 1-9, they all rise up, but 50-1 on Get It Done Donna. Equipment change open to blind bridle and shows improving form. The last few races were not bad. Look, the season's record, the last 2 seasons isn't great, but Get It Done Donna might at least be able to get it done in terms of a top 5 finish, following out If You Knew Susie.
Yeah, getting to follow If You Knew Susie is the real key with this one, I think. And if Scott Coulter can get this one on the helmet of If You Knew Susie, then I think that really, should get away well. And the price is, kind of crazy right now, given the fact that, one of the ones that does have an inside post in the race, 50-1. So I'd be looking to get this one somewhere on the ticket, and the higher up she goes, the more it's going to pay.
And the horse we didn't show any love to, and yet if you look at the recent form, 7 Bye Bye Daddy, 13 wins last year, 3 this year, 38 lifetime. Bye Bye Daddy, no stranger to tough post positions lately.
Yeah, Bye Bye Daddy's an interesting one in here. I know some of the folks on Twitter were kind of mentioning this one as maybe a possible upsetter. Maybe, but post 7 for me, Gary, that it takes a real special horse for me to put that one on top or in the mix.
Well, at least she knows her way to post 7, because she's had post 7 now in 3 of her last 6 starts, and the other ones were a pair of 6s and an 8, so she can get her way to the outside of the gate, no problem. Can she get home? We'll see how it unfolds here in the 10th race. If You Knew Susie, Etam's Princess on the inside. As Brave As My Mama, Rhythm Sealster, Northern Prima to the outside. Bye Bye Daddy, Etam's Ellie. And the second tier, Get It Done Donna. Field of 8, 10th dash. Here they come. The field for race number 10, gathering speed, nearing the start. And they're off. If You Knew Susie, Etam's Princess, and As Brave As My Mama, Bye Bye Daddy from the outside. But it's If You Knew Susie who's got the lead. Etam's Princess does find the pocket. As Brave As My Mama is third. And Bye Bye Daddy is looking to squeeze over to the pylons fourth, and it was able to do so. In front of Rhythm Sealster, then Get It Done Donna and Northern Prima. And back trailing is Etam's Ellie. But If You Knew Susie at 1-5 on the board has got the lead as they race past the opening quarter. The advantage is a length and 3/4. Etam's Princess, and Jason Ryan is second on the back of If You Knew Susie and Cullen Kelly. 28 seconds the opening quarter. As Brave As My Mama is racing third, and Bye Bye Daddy and Jay Harris is positioned fourth as they come off the turn. Then it is back to Rhythm Sealster, and then further back is Get It Done Donna, Northern Prima, and Etam's Ellie. If You Knew Susie leads as they race their way on past the half, 28-second opening quarter, and on past the half they go. Halftime 57-2, and up and driving as Brave as My Mama is going to brave it first over. Etam's Princess is still there in the pocket, but it's If You Knew Susie, who might be looking to bottom out the field. Has a lead of about 2.5 now. As Brave as My Mama to the outside, Etam's Princess on the inside. Rhythm Sealter, Bye Bye Daddy, Get It Done Donna, and then Etam's Ellie and Northern Prima on down the backstretch. Of a half of 57-2. Emden is If You Knew Susie, who's got a lead of a length and a half. As Brave as My Mama. And now 3 wide goes Rhythm Sealter, who's in a very good rhythm now. 3 wide and rolling. 3/4, 126-3. And Etam's Princess is still there on the inside. About 2 off the lead. And then Rhythm, as they are about to turn for home, Get It Done. Donna's racing 5th on down the stretch drive for If You Knew Susie. If You Knew Susie is sharp on down the lane. If You Knew Susie is going to win it. Then finishing second as Brave as My Mama. Then Get It Done Donna on the inside. To the outside was Rhythm Sealter, and Etam's Princess was 5th. 157-1. If You Knew Susie at 1-5. Well, we knew she'd be a short price, and we knew she was probably the best in here, Rob.
Yeah, it's just a trip around the track for If You Knew Susie. It gets, a little bit of urging from Colin in the late stages of the mile, and we saw that last time too, but then still kind of wrapped up on the end of it there, and an easy winner, and had a favorable post to work from, and against this group, she's going to be tough to beat every time. As Brave as My Mama, another solid trip though, right? First over quite a ways, and just kept on grinding to get the second spot, and came in pretty formful underneath the horses that I kind of thought would be there, and we'll see what this ends up paying. The carryover should help, but like I said, the prices underneath aren't robust by any stretch.
Well, the top 5 that you handicapped were 2, 4, 3, 5, 9, and it came 2, 4, I believe 5, 9, 3. So, you know what I always like to say to you when you're that close? You were wrong.
Yeah, I'm used to it by now, but yeah, no, I was wrong. I was wrong for sure, but I would have liked to have seen, just for payouts purposes, maybe Get It Done Donna getting a bigger piece of it, or Rhythm Seals are getting up for second, but as Brave as My Mama, just too good again to land the runner-up spot.
Well, Colin Kelly and Kyle Boston, they score for a third time this evening. It's number 2, If You Knew Susie, a Yankee Cruiser 6-year-old bay mare, owned by Daryl Newbigin of Kamoka. 6th win this year, 17th lifetime. If You Knew Susie, 157-1. The 10th race payouts, number 2, If You Knew Susie, 260, 210, 210. 4 is Brave as My Mama, 330 and 230, and 5 Rhythm Sealster, 390. $2 exactor is $670, try 1510, the double 1390. Dollar pick 4, 59.50, the dollar high 5, 345.40. The 10th race order of finish from the top is a scratch 152-37684. That's scratch 152-37684 on the bottom. Well, fans, that does conclude the live harness racing program. There is a look at the photo for fourth in the final dash. Note that we have one more day of live racing action here at Grand River for the season. It's this coming Wednesday. Our first race will go to post at 6:30 p.m. Buenas noches, amigos. Good night, everybody. Good night, Christine.